It's time for Cup of Rad, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie. Hey kids, it's Mike here from Cup of Rad, and guess what? We're whipping our way into your ears for this exciting episode, and guess who's back?
I'm back.
That's right, Katie is back to join us on this fantastically friendly neighborhood Spider-Man episode.
Let's just take a moment to appreciate the word thwip.
The whippity thwip whip. And release. There you go. You're a natural, kid.
You know what's funny is you started saying that the other day, and it took me a moment. I'm listening to you. I'm like, what is he talking? Oh, yeah, that's from the movie. Okay. Because it just sounded so natural. Like I wasn't even questioning it. And,
well, it helped I was playing the video game.
Yeah.
So
that's what you were doing. I couldn't remember. I was like, why did he suddenly say that? It made more sense playing that. But yes, he was swinging it around. I was like, oh, okay, that's sweet.
I would just randomly sitting on the couch going, and release, and release, and there you go.
Okay.
I don't know what we're doing there.
A whole other level right there.
2 seconds in the podcast and down we go.
Yeah, that's how we roll. So how's everyone going? How are you doing?
How's everyone going?
Everyone.
How are you doing? Yeah, how are you going in listener land? I'm doing pretty good. I feel like a cold's coming on, which is not cool for a summer cold.
Which is why we have some wonderful tea we are drinking in our cups of rad tonight.
Yeah, I got like a couple batches of tea.
Yeah, he's got like tea lined up for his other like later on echinacea tea and all sorts of herbal things.
It's going down. I'm gonna luckily though, usually our colds seem to go pretty quick. They hit hard and then go fast.
It's about 24 hours, maybe 48 the most, and then it's like, okay, I'm feeling better now.
Yeah, so hopefully this one follows the same trend.
Yes.
But one thing I got to say is thank you to everyone that entered the Magic Word Contest.
Yes, very much.
We had posted our winners, and they'll be getting their boxes. Those boxes will be going out this week here, or have gone out this week, which will be pretty exciting. I hope you enjoy. Let us know when you get them, and hopefully take some pictures, and then you can start filling your own cup with rad while you listen to us. Unless you're on the bus, that might be a little awkward, but it might be kind of cool too.
It could be classy. Be like, I don't have a travel mug when I travel. I use this awesome cup of rad.
Pinkies up. Maybe that's the next thing. Maybe next time we make travel mugs.
Travel mugs. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Cup of rad on the go.
Yes.
Because some people might listen on transit or on their drive, and
fantastic.
It'd be the mug of rad.
Right on. Yeah, but definitely let us know what you think. I'm excited for radness to share it.
I put some things in there. I pilfered some things from our collection. Hopefully everything will be amazeballs for you. So what's up with you, Katie?
Well, let's see. We've got summer going. Started fully with that. Son's out of school, and it's been a little rainy and drizzly and cold, but I will not complain that it is not sweltering hot. So
last year was pretty.
Yeah, it was really bad. So
satanic almost.
It's been very humid though, so it's like it's cold but humid, and so it's a little conflicting because I'm warm enough to not want to wear lots of clothing, but I am not warm enough to, or I'm not cold enough to. Yeah, I just
kerfuffled.
I'm just gonna rock whatever I feel like rocking, and we'll just deal with it. So I'm a little conflicted with that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, we've had a full Spider-Man.
Yes, we have had so much Spider-Man.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm kind of burnt out on Spider-Man.
You're out of fluid. You're out of the web fluid.
No more thwipping available.
Clickety click click. No.
How have you been?
Pretty good. I haven't really done a whole lot. I've been doing a lot of stuff outside. If you've seen our Instagram account, you would have noticed that we were doing a lot of things outside.
Yeah, taking advantage, being able to do
because we had some good weather there, and taking some photos out there with some of our pops. I broke those out. Haven't taken pictures of pops in a long time, but. And
I promise soon I will sit down and we can take more pictures of our hot toy Doc Strange. I feel like he's sad up on the shelf, stuck in the same position that he is when we got him.
Yeah, he kind of got forgotten about.
Yeah, well, because there was so much going on and with things, and I need to just sit down and put all his magic bands on. We saw him at Toy Traders there, and he was all done up. Yeah. And I was like, oh wait, I need to do this because he's so blasé looking right now. He's
just very chill.
Pizzazz.
He's just like, sup, I'm Doc Strange. What up?
Yeah. No, he needs some sparkle and
He needs some sparkle and some Shazam. Cross company mishaps.
Oh no, pizzazz. Is that better?
There you go. But yeah, it's been all about Spider-Man. Like that's literally what it's been. Has been just devouring because we've had a whole lot of RADnesia of the old Spider-Man, and well,
because our son had never seen anything that was not Tom Holland.
Correct.
So we thought, you know what, he's old enough and it makes sense to take advantage of trying to have him watch all of those. And after following, we of course went and saw our the new Far From Home. First moment we could. Took the day off even. Had to get there right away.
I kind of forced you. I kind of
You're like, yeah, by the way,
the tickets came out in May and I was just like, hey!
Well, it took me forever. I couldn't even find my tickets on my email because it was that far back. I had bought tickets since then. I was like, where are they? Oh, yeah, I actually bought these back in May. Yeah. Holy moly. Yeah. So, it was I'm going to this. Take the day off or not. I'm going to.
Yeah, me and Kiddo are going. Are you, with or without you?
So yeah.
Well, it's Spider-Man. It's exciting.
I know.
It's an exciting time for the first one after Endgame. The end of the phase. Right? The end of the phase.
Yeah, wanting to see more of that after the magnanimity.
Wow.
We're fancy. Wow. I don't know where that came from.
Is your pinky up?
My pinky. Magnanimity. No, now I can't say it again. See? It was a one and done. Like, that's it.
Out. Podcast done. Peace.
But after that epic, movie, it was there is another Marvel. What else are we gonna find out?
We don't know the official.
Yeah,
what's happening.
It's killing me. Comic-Con? You said
there's supposed to be Comic-Con. There's supposed to be some stuff. I think at Comic-Con and possibly D23. They haven't really been clear.
Oh,
they're kind of like, we'll tell you when we tell you.
Let's be honest. We'll be there. It doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah, but I want to know what dates I gotta plan. Right? I don't even know official dates for things. They're just like moments in time. I need my fix, man. I'm jonesing over here.
I can't handle this uncertainty. So Spider-Man, let's dig into the Spider-Man.
Do we want to jump right in? Dive off that building?
Yeah, we're thwipping.
We're thwipping it. Thwip it real good.
Okay.
Those subtle jokes are brought to you by Web in the Ear. Web in the Ear, made for your pleasure. Well, Spider-Man for me, Spider-Man really, before we dive into any of the movies.
What does Spider-Man mean to you,
What does Spider-Man mean?
Deep questions.
Wow, that's almost like we're crossing boundaries here. It's RADnesia, RADstalgia.
It's all over the place in your ears.
I'm just coated in webs. I'm just going to web all over the place in this spot.
You knew that was coming.
The whippity whip the whip. But what does Spider-Man mean to me? Well, as a young boy growing up, of an age of, I can't remember, I would watch television and I would see an animated version of Spider-Man. That was really my first introduction to the character, was the 90s animated Spider-Man cartoon. But that was something I watched when I would go to the pub and I'd,
By the way, that sounds awesome.
Back in my day,
let's give some context.
11-year-olds were able to go to the bar. We'd sit up there with our pint. We grab our pint and we sit back and be like, throw on Spider-Man on the big screen.
That is true.
Because where my mom worked and all that, it was a bar. She worked at a bar. And we didn't have cable, so I would head over and I'd get to spend the mornings. And they had a big screen TV, and that's how I watched my cartoons. It was one of those, it would have been the 120-inch.
Yeah, the big sports TV.
Yeah, the big sports TV. And
that's what they were, yeah.
So besides the smell of vomit, alcohol, and urine.
Yay!
I had a good time.
Nice.
But yeah, Spider-Man was the thing, one of the ones I watched, one of the many ones I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And I know August, we're going to dive deep into the cosmos of cartoons. It's going to be a Saturday morning explosion.
Yes.
Come August.
So we'll learn all about Mike's days at the pub.
That's true. Come on down to the pub, eh? That's what I'm saying.
By the way, when you first started talking about your, deep connection to Spider-Man, though, you just reminded me of Deadpool. So, the fact that it's just
West Coast.
It's West Coast Ryan Reynolds sound.
Yeah,
is what Deadpool
that's what
is.
It is. It's Vancouver area.
Yes,
because we don't have the East Coast, the
accents
or those kind of accents.
Or the middle. Yeah, it's
the deadpan.
The West. Yeah.
It's that we're so wet and cold all the time that we talk to ourselves in a room. Our stuffed animals or toys are our audience because we can't go hang with our friends because if we walk outside we just get drenched. We're just like, oh.
So
it's just like.
rainforest.
How's it going?
Yeah.
You're all my friends now, aren't you? That's good. Aw, you're smiling over there, aren't you, buddy? I love you too. Let's cuddle. Right?
Oh, anyways. Okay, so
Spider-Man. I watched the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon. That was my full introduction into it.
Yeah.
And it was just like whoa, what is this? This dude shoots webs from his hands and he's fighting all these zany, crazy bad guys.
Well, he's so bright too,
yeah,
right? And he's so
because we had, at the same time, it was like you had Batman and you were like, oh,
yeah, he's such an extreme for your favorite, right?
Yeah.
And then, even Turtles, then it kind of has that little bit of that mixture of like just the bright and shiny part of the Turtles, right? So.
And so the fact that he was just like sarcastic and he had quips and he was just like, and
he was thwipping.
He was thwipping all over the place. Everyone was just getting thwipped, like swinging in there and just I'll thwip you off. But so there's those moments where
who needs alcohol when you have Mike in the room?
Hi, tea brought to you by. Yeah, that cartoon was a lot to me, and I remember being just like, I need toys.
The look on his face was fantastic right now. It was like staring
to your soul.
Staring to my soul intently.
And those toys that the 90s tune brought out were just fantastic. They had quite a bit of articulation. Yeah. Even for back then, it was like a surprising amount of articulation.
Yeah.
Because some of the figures in the line had no articulation. So it was like that Spider-Man that I got that was like the super articulate one that they had was like super special because it had so much.
It's like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
how did they this magic toy?
It had the everything, the wrist and the this and that and this, and it was just like, whoa,
nice,
that's fantastic,
nice.
And I remember, that was just a toy I loved. And then like the X-Men cartoon came around the same time, so like it was pretty big for Marvel for that time. From that, then it was just like, because I never really had that moment where it was like, well, did you know that there's comics?
Oh yeah,
it was like, well, it's a cartoon. And then, so where we go get our groceries, that was like the only place you could buy comics in town. But they had the spinner rack, right?
Yeah.
And that's where, after you see those movies and you see those things and you go and you walk along by the magazines and you're like, whoa, hold on. And that's when I started getting interested in reading Spider-Man comics. And, I started reading those in like Bagley and, that kind of thing and McFarlane. So then I started reading those comics that I could get. And unfortunately, grocery store spinner racks were never current or on time, or you didn't get the entire story.
It was just random, whatever.
It was whatever showed up. Yeah. So my Spider-Man knowledge really came from that cartoon and what I could piece together. And at the time, it was really the Clone Saga.
Oh, okay.
So I got a really special place in my heart for Ben Reilly and that hooded Spider-Man outfit.
And that makes sense. Then why it was so important to you.
Yeah, because it was kind of like my first like really foyer into it.
Yeah.
And then once I started going to the flea market and I started getting other comics and stuff like that, I started being able to read more and get further back and all that. And then luckily you find the collected editions and you're able to read the old Stan Lee stuff.
Yeah, some of you have like a big, huge book. Like I remember your graphic novels, a lot of them was Spider-Man was the main character. I mean,
because I got into the Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah. And that's where I found this giant, like it was 50 issue, like catalog phone book almost, huge. Right?
Yeah.
And it was that's so, but yeah, you start reading all those and you start learning about the characters. I've got that even in the room that we got. You're looking at it right now behind you or behind me.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
Well, no, I'm talking about on the wall.
Oh yeah, your poster.
Yeah,
Greg and Tim Hildebrandt, Spider-Man poster. Mm-hmm. That was I remember that from the very beginning.
Yeah,
like, that was thing. Well, it's one of the few that we actually have framed because it's that old original art.
Well, because that was actually because I had bought enough comics from the guy at the flea market that he was like, "Here, have this."
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so so I was able to get that up there and it was really cool to have that. But from that, then it was, well, we'll just dive into it. Then 2002 came around.
Yeah.
And we had an X-Men movie and I enjoyed that. And now here came Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
And
it was huge because it was the first comic book movie that, for how long that we'd had, and a Marvel one of that nature that wasn't, we just had X-Men. Yeah. And that was it, right?
Yeah.
And so to have something
Blade
like that.
had come out around there, I think, too. And but it was for
my own knowledge, I had no idea Blade was a comic book movie, though.
But it was R-rated, right?
Yeah, so it's not the same way, vein. Right? So I mean, that was a big thing to have something that was of that character, because it was his first
real foyer
into live action like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was a big deal, being able to see that and experience it, because it was just this wow. And for me too, because I'd been starting to watch so many more movies, and I'd loved The Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and all that, and finding and Darkman, finding out that Sam Raimi had made this movie.
Yeah.
And it was just like the guy that like they made these weird.
You were already a fan of that. Yeah.
The Spider-Man made Spider-Man, and Bruce Campbell showed up, and it was just like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, and I loved it. I ate it up. It was just so amazing to be able to see, you know, they took stuff from the Ultimate Comics, they mixed some things up. And at the time, I was just full on mesmerized by this because it was it was the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? That coming back to it, you know, we throw in the RADnesia.
Yeah, we just watched that and we introduced it to our son. And that was an experience. Like, I remember myself even too. Like, really, that movie was my introduction to the character. Yeah. I knew of Spider-Man and everything. It wasn't a new character that I hadn't known at all. But I never read the comics. I didn't watch the cartoon. I didn't really know anything other than he was just a kid that got bitten by a radioactive spider. I mean, that was literally all I knew, right?
Yeah.
So for me, coming into this was my introduction to the character. So I remember being like, well, there's nothing wrong with this movie because this is just amazing. You know, he's got a cool suit. He's fighting bad guys. You know, for perfect timing. I was a teenager and it was all okay for the romance and the love. And it's always so sweet and it's marvelous. And I remember I love that movie for sure. And, but watching it again, not going to lie, the romance was it was a romance movie. It was not a comic movie.
You know, yeah. Giving it the full RADnesia without looking at it with the RADstalgia.
Yes.
Glasses on. It didn't fare well over time.
Yeah. And I was disappointed, but I look back and I'm like, okay, well, I can see where it was in my life and what this movie represented for the world. I can definitely see why it was such an important part and why people are so fond about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it still is a really important part in Spider-Man in cinema for sure. But it was interesting because our son was just bored. But it's his age, right?
He was just like, what is this? Why are we watching this? Well, let's just say when we finished it, we said, are you ready to watch Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, we're like, so you're going to watch Spider-Man 2 with us?
Well, I feel like I should, but no.
It was so funny because it was such a raw reaction to it, you know? And there was a few times where it was like this is just why are they kissing? And that moment of it's all he's paying attention about. And he wanted, you can tell, he only knows Holland, so he was a little bit more action, a lot less romance. It's much more dramatic, and it's harder for him to understand some of that stuff, right? And so it's an interesting take on how they did write that story, for sure.
Much more romance in it, but for myself, it still looked cool.
It was.
I still like Goblin for what it was, even though he still looked like a Power Ranger.
Very much so.
It really, really still was a fun action movie, but for me, it did not age well sitting with it, and which was hard to almost reconcile.
Yeah, you can be like, the conflict there.
Yeah, because it was like, but that was like my jam. Like I love that thing, and like it just didn't really click the same. I was finding myself being a little bit more bored, and not really getting the excitement level, and little things were actually kind of bothering me a little bit more, like how much he would take off his mask, and that has bothered me more and more over time. And the stuff that I remember fondly liking, a lot more of the cheeseball stuff, because it reminded me, it was like, it's like a 70s Spider-Man cartoon comic thing. I was like, oh my goodness, why is he spinning 6 times in the air jumping over Flash? That's
I remember,
impossibility.
Yes.
Even as Spider-Man should be a impossibility.
It's just defying physics.
He just spun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the spinning thing. Yeah. You know what I like is it goes from sweatsuit, like sweatpants wrestler mode, to slick looking high-end Spider-Man suit with no montage. Nothing. No explanation. The man is broke. He has zero money because he doesn't have a job. We know Aunt May doesn't have any extra money. So where did this costume come from?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if it at least showed him making something, it would have even showed the ingenious and everything of him. But it doesn't even show his intelligence from it, right?
It just shows up. It just goes from one scene to a woohoo!
Oh yeah. That that has always bothered me, actually, and I don't know why. But it bothers me still even more so. And but the random woohooing all the time whenever he flies, it just like swings down. Yeah, I don't know why. I've never been okay with that.
But we gotten a message from our buddy over at Insane Dragon Ball, and he was asking like, "Oh, you guys are doing a Spider-Man episode?" But we weren't able to meld our times because Australia, and it's a completely different time zone.
It's a different day, actually.
But so he sent me a couple things. So like Spider-Man 2 for him, it was his favorite moment was when Norman finally reveals himself as a Green Goblin to Peter and then distracts him with his monologue before impaling himself with his glider. And then I know that he really liked the fact that how many times
you know how low that glider hit him too, by the way?
It totally hit him in the junk.
Yeah, that was extra
bled
bad.
out from his balls.
Oh man, that's a harsh way to go, man.
But Theo over there loved the fact that how many times they refer to the "Don't tell Harry" throughout the movie.
Yes.
So that's one of his favorite moments in that there.
Everyone is hiding things from Harry.
Yeah.
That's very unfair for sure.
But yeah, there are some great moments in it. It's got some good things, but when it came to that RADnesia, it did not live up to the rad expectations of our original viewings.
No, to the point where like I know for sure Kiddo's not gonna care to ever watch it again.
No.
For sure, right?
No.
No.
Now we're gonna thwip on over to some more RADnesia for Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
So I sat there and I was like, okay, kiddo. Yeah, okay, Spider-Man was a little romancy, but like Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man. It's like the greatest. It's like the best Spider-Man.
Oh, we told him to. We're putting it on. We're watching it.
Yeah.
You can join it as well. And it was I want to see what you're talking about. So
yeah. So Spider-Man 2 deals with Dr. Octopus.
Yes.
And Alfred Mollier was in there as the Doc, and I was very excited to watch this again because it's been a long time since I seen it.
Yes.
And I was like, I always.
But you always talked about.
Always
it.
remembered
Spider-Man
it.
Because
it's done from the writers of Smallville and it had that angst and all that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, after
like, it's not the origin anymore.
Yeah, right into the action. I was like, okay, we got this. It's gonna be fantastic. Because the first one can sometimes be rough, but I always remember Spider-Man 2 just being like, holy crap.
So how'd that go for you, Mike?
I got bored again, dude. And you know what bugged me? And it was one thing that always bugged me later on after I remember watching it. I'm not a big fan of the redemption.
Yeah,
right?
very much so.
The redemption story arc was always one of those things that really bothered me for Doc. Mm-hmm. And it still bugged me because I was like, Doc Ock is like the baddest of the
He's
bad.
supposed to be terrifying.
Like
bad.
even now in the comics now with the whole Superior Spider-Man storyline.
He's scary evil.
He's scary. And he's like now in a clone body of Parker still running around as Octavius. Like it literally...
Yeah.
Pretty much killed. Like
he needs to be badass, and he was totally not a villain at all. The arms were the bad guy.
Yeah. It was AI gone wrong. And now I watched that again, and I was just like, holy crap.
Because he totally had the ability to be truly evil, but it shows, and it was just the AI that turned off his
inhibitions
conscience,
and
basically,
conscience,
right? Yeah.
And I was like, I was really sad.
He was very disappointed.
It was just like, whoa. This is not the same movie I remember.
Yeah.
What have you done to my disc, Katie? What have you given? Where's this romance crap coming from?
Hey, I do not like the romance stuff. It's so funny as I've gotten older, and I just could, if I'm going to watch a romance movie, I love my romantic comedies. I have a whole shelf of them. But I expect them to be the romance movies.
Yeah.
I do not want my comic book movies to be romance movies first.
Yeah, well,
and they're bad romance too. It's oh my gosh, why don't you talk to each other?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And even our son was why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Why? Oh my goodness, he was getting frustrated with it.
He was not happy with it. He did not, and he's watched a few cartoons here and there, and he was just like, "Well, this isn't really my jam."
The battles with Doc Ock when he was back were awesome.
And that's where,
so great. There was really great action, and
those are the things I remember. And those are the things I remember fondly, like the train scene.
Yeah,
all like the whole battle on the train scene.
Oh yeah, that
and
was
like on
excellent.
the clock tower when he throws the clock thing at him and he throws it back at him and like
yeah, there was really great action scenes for sure.
And it was just like, yes, this is what I remember, and this is where my RADstalgia kicked in.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is what I remember about being awesome about the movies are the action scenes and the music. Danny Elfman's music in both 1 and 2
really stand up.
Fantastic themes. You know, he didn't do the third one, and that's where the third one doesn't have the same music presence. But I like, yeah, it really just came to that nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know,
the rest of the movie itself,
I can't even give it RADstalgia.
It's boring except for those action and because the in between, it's just not a very exciting story.
Yeah, and how mopey he is. I'm not a big fan of how mopey.
No.
You know, he
never really
recovers.
Yeah.
It's like
he's really, and you know what, I understand his grief. I get it. But it's so much of a collection of that. And just and he doesn't even grow as a character. Really.
No, and it's just that weird fact that he just doesn't really hit those moments where he never really takes the responsibility on.
No,
until everything has hit the fan and there's nothing left but responsibility.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, because he doesn't really embrace.
He lets everything go to hell.
Yeah,
and then you know.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed with watching 1 and 2 is how toxic Mary Jane is.
Yes, she is. I know that's a problem for you.
Because like I watched that and I was just like, she just uses dudes. She uses them up until.
Well, she's very needy.
Yeah.
It's
and that's
it's the save me, take care of me, poor me. And obviously she had a really crappy life growing up. And I get that. But she's not stronger because of it. She's not more resilient. She's totally broken, which is sad. But that's not the MJ that you have always told me about.
And like she doesn't have that whole face it tagger. You hit the jackpot.
Yeah, she's not seductive or anything. It is that moment where it's like, really, Peter, really? Why?
Yeah. Run away.
Is she literally just the first girl that you saw and you grew up with, and that's the only thing?
Yeah.
Because why do you, for lack of better words, why do you love her?
Yeah, there was no connection there.
No, you didn't. You didn't see the spark. You didn't, because he was just a bumbling fool every time he talked to her. There was no real reason as to say like, oh, why is she great? It was like she was good to look at, and that was it.
Yeah, she leaves an astronaut for what?
Yeah,
at the altar. But yeah, so Kiddo didn't like that one either, and we were like, well, Spider-Man 3,
Spider-Man 3 was horrible, but you need to experience it with us.
And
now.
he finally was like, okay, well, now I want to see if it's as bad as you guys say it is.
Yeah, so that intrigued him for sure.
So here's something funny. I hated Spider-Man 3. I hated it so much that I have only ever watched it once, and it was in the theaters.
Yeah, we buy everything. We have all the other ones. We do not own this one, so we had to go to Netflix for it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a lot of like drive homes from movies. This is one of the ones that I remember driving home from the theater with you, and we were just going off about how horrible it was.
Yep.
I clearly remember. So I was curious to see if it lived up to the horribleness that I remember from it. That was an interesting concept going into a movie, being like, was it as crappy as I thought it was?
Yeah. I totally forgot. I got to interject this here.
We got to reel back.
Yeah, we got to reel back to Spider-Man 2. I forgot about Insane Dragon Balls thing here.
Oh.
Because I got impassioned.
Sorry,
Theo. But so his favorite moment. Well, actually, we never even talked about if we had a favorite moment. But we talked about the action scenes. The action scenes were our
my
favorite
things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when Harry is about to pull off the mask of Spider-Man, if only I could cause the pain you've caused me. First, I'll see who's behind the mask. Then I'll look into your eyes as you die. The moment he removes the mask and sees it's Peter, the shock and disbelief, you can really feel the moment, and his revenge was taken away from him. Then he couldn't believe Spider-Man was responsible for Harry's father's death, and he couldn't kill his best friend, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a conflict for sure.
So that was Insane Dragon Ball's favorite moment from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Well, it's
that's
interesting.
That's a deep moment.
With Harry, yeah, he's almost more of an interesting character to see what he goes through for that. The conflict between, having his father, the balance back and forth with his father, and seeing MJ, those changes. He's almost a more interesting character than Peter is.
Yeah, he goes through more development than Peter ever does in the entire.
And James Franco also becomes a better actor as the movies go on.
Yes, he does.
Thank goodness.
Yes, you can really see he must have had some lessons or something as they go on. Especially because we watched them so back to back, all 3 in a row. So we saw.
So we saw the change.
Yeah, we watched those changes instead of having those years. But But I for me, I can't even say that Spider-Man 3 is a RADnesia.
No, it wasn't.
I won't even throw. I can't even throw my in there because
it was just a rewatch.
It was a rewatch of a crappy movie.
Yeah.
And
so was it did the crappiness, did it lead us still stand up? See, we're positively talking about how crappy it was.
The movie wasn't as bad as I remember.
No.
So there's a bonus.
There is.
Up until the halfway part.
Until the dancing and the swagger.
Emo Parker.
Oh, good gracious.
And I think that's the same feeling I had originally, because when I was when we first started watching that,
I was like, sweet.
I was like, I'm having a good time. The battles and all that were going on at the beginning,
and then it all
everything.
went to pop.
It was like I'm watching. I'm like, okay, I'm digging this. I'm having a good time with this. Like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became Emo Parker.
Oh, the hair came over the forehead, and it was just downhill.
And the dancing and the jazz and so much jazz.
It's so horrible.
Like. But there was so much jazz, which was wild. And, and the fact that, like, they didn't even try with the black suit. It was just the same suit, just black. But I don't want to be negative about it too much, but I dug it. And when it was just a Sandman story at the beginning and Parker being popular as Spider-Man and all that, the beginning half was fantastic.
What's great too is our son was like, "Oh, that looks like I like Sandman." Like, he recognized him, so they did a great job of, I mean, it's not a horribly difficult character costume, but still, they still got it.
Companies have made worse.
They could have gotten
on
worse
simpler costumes. So
you know what? He recognized him right away, and he was really enjoying it. And then it got to that, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And It was an interesting journey.
But Venom, the design for Venom didn't really bug me as much as it originally did.
Yeah. I think Venom looked cool, but he wasn't Venom. He was just Eddie Brock.
Yeah, he was like the Joker of Venom. Like, he was just like super like jokey. And that realization too of like, how did Brock get long teeth?
Yeah, as soon as the Venom, the symbiote got onto him, then all of a sudden his 4 teeth lengthened, and then he was taken over by it. And I'm like, wait a second, why did Brock's teeth get all crazy? But they're only a little bit longer, because then when he's full on Venom, his mouth is all terrifying. Yeah, which is fine that they were like that.
That was how it should be in Venom, but not. But
Brock. Because that's the only thing that changed too.
Yeah. It's just so.
Don't forget the symbiote, like, pulling his eyebrows.
Yes, to make his evil eyebrows. Watch. There's like a tendril that's like got him up in like that rock style, like cock eyebrow, like. It was just like. You know what?
My biggest concern with this is that the whole movie itself is not revolving around Spider-Man. It actually is a Peter Parker story. Yeah. And all the villains in the movie are all Peter Parker villains. Yeah. Sandman is only truly a villain in Peter's story. He's looking because of the connection to his to Uncle Ben. Yeah. Brock is the one, he hates Peter.
That's the one that rings the truest to the comics, at least.
It does, and that's fine. But if it wasn't all connected around all of the rest of that, because I know that Venom then is because then Spider-Man threw him away, and so I do understand that. Yeah. But there's that, and it's just everyone is against Peter.
Yeah, it was too much overload, and there's just too much going on.
Yeah, and he's not enough of trying to solve things as Spider-Man. Yeah. And and I can appreciate the death of Uncle Ben and how it changed him, and it's supposed to morph him and give him responsibility, but it got to that, it was just burnout. It bogs so much down. Of it, like Sandman should not have been connected to that at all. No. And that would have helped free up a whole bunch of the drama and the extra just stuff in there if he had just been, he's the bad guy that Spider-Man needs to stop, and he's just a Spider-Man villain. And then he can deal with Eddie Brock as the Peter Parker or the black suit, all the crap with MJ and all, because then there's all of that as well.
And then they underused Gwen.
Yeah, and then there's this conflict with Gwen. And if Sandman had no connection and there was no conflict, because then Aunt May was, kind of had to be brought in there and been disappointed, and him having to still face all the Uncle Ben stuff again, it was just overwhelming.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that they tried to connect,
and it was like all the last half of the movie. Yeah, right. And it was just like, and then it got to that point where, with how Peter had acted towards MJ, I'm sorry, but he is gone. There is zero reason why she should have forgiven him for that crap. I don't care what he can say that he was on something.
I was taken over by a space.
No, I'm sorry, you're being a dick. I'm done. Like it just and it made their relationship kind of cheap sounding because it just seemed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to take a step back. I'm very impassioned about how frustrated I am with this movie.
Sorry, but tonight's episode is brought to you by Cup of Rage.
Cup of Rage.
Where we just rage! That shows you how the films really did not live up to any of the rad expectations that we had.
Like, there was some of it was better and some of it was just the same.
Yeah.
You know?
On that, let's end with a positive note here that Insane Dragon Ball, he loved the moment where Spider-Man figures out the symbiotes are vulnerable to sound and he traps Venom in the sound cage.
I do love that
metal poles. Spidey pulls Brock from the symbiote. The Venom symbiote grows bigger and being aggravated by the sound waves. Eddie has a power-drunk look on his face when he sees the size of the symbiote. Spidey grabs a pumpkin bomb, throws it at Venom, and Eddie tries to reunite, and they are blown to smithereens.
I love that the symbiote is sensitive to sound. I think that's a really cool and how he makes that cage. I like because of that was a quick thinking thing. Yeah. That was him showing how well he could think on his feet and figure out something, and that was really great. I do not like that they disintegrate.
Below it to smithereens.
Yeah. Smithereens.
There's
it
pieces.
Implies that there's pieces.
Well, he just put blown to bits. I added the smithereens because it sounded cooler.
That sounds cool. And thank you.
Because I was just worried I wouldn't have been liked.
Thank you, Mayor. But they were vaporized. And you made a point with Harry. He had a bomb of that same nature blown up behind him and he's burnt on his face. Not disintegrated.
Yeah.
So did the power of the symbiote somehow do something to it?
We will never know.
What was the difference?
We will never know.
We don't know.
Sam Raimi isn't like Zack Snyder dropping bits and pieces everywhere. As like, guess what it could have been. So someone needs to give that dude a job so we can stop.
Please give him something to do that is getting paid for.
That was a little Cup of Rage moment on a different tangent. But yeah, there's so much stuff that, you know, could have been explored and should have been explored. Or, you know, I always think that maybe that the third movie should never have dealt with Venom. They should have saved that for a fourth, and it should have just been the Sandman story. Yeah. And if anything, he should have gotten the symbiote and he should have had that relationship with the symbiote and then been Black Suit Spider-Man and then like almost killed Sandman. So that then he saw the rage, and then maybe if he tore the suit off, and then the suit slinked off and found Brock, and that's how they ended it.
Well, then that way too, then it would have showed a little bit more of the reason why the Venom, the symbiote would have hated Spider-Man, is because you would have actually seen the relationship, and it didn't develop Venom at all. So I can see why people were so excited about the Venom movie when they got something that was more fleshed out with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
our son was just like, I hate you guys. Why did you make me watch this?
What have you done to me?
This is 3 nights that I could have been playing Mario Party. Or something else. Like
anything else.
Really, like, wow. So with that then, we decided to have a RADnesia with the Amazing Spider-Man.
Why not continue on?
Because, you know, we were just whipping on down the road.
Well, you know, okay, so for Amazing Spider-Man, I remember being really...
Oh, you love that.
I loved this movie. I was so excited, especially after Spider-Man 3. I was like, I'm done with that crap. I'm so excited for someone new, something different, and I was super excited for this movie. And so I know we haven't watched it in a very long time.
We haven't watched it since Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. So I was very excited to watch it again. And I kept telling our son, like, this one is so much better and everything. But I told him I know it is still going to be more romance based. Yeah. And I remember the downfall of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, so I didn't want to talk too high up. But
so then knock. His friend show up. Hey, you want to play? And he's like, yeah, I'm not staying here. I'll be back. And so we're like, oh, okay.
But we're watching the movie anyway.
Yeah.
So starting with that though, I enjoyed a lot of it still more than Maguire for myself. And I liked he had a bit more of it. He was more sure of himself, some more confidence, and some more, as Spider-Man, he was a little more quick thinking and a little bit more talkative. And I liked that. He had a bit more of a character to him, but it was still a romance movie, but at least it didn't start off.
Yeah, but it wasn't
as clear, right? It wasn't because literally Spider-Man starts out with, this is all about a girl.
Yeah.
And so it says it from the very beginning. So this one, I liked that it was much more Spider-Man based, and I liked for sure that they showed him making his suit.
Yeah, I know.
That was a big thing for me. So, what about you?
I still Amazing Spider-Man to me still, as much as I had the gripes going back and watching Spider-Man 1 and 2, they still have the RADnesia to me.
Yeah.
You know, they still got that rad nostalgia. Like it's like yeah. But I remember Amazing still being amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it still had the same feeling as we watched it, where I really dug it. I still really dug Amazing Spider-Man. I like how much faster and quippy he is, you know. And
quippy, that was the word I was looking for.
And those scenes where, you know, he makes some more of the jokes, his confidence comes out a little bit more. I love the fact that you actually see him sourcing out and buying and making the suit and actually piecing it together.
Yeah.
You know, that was something that was really cool. As much as it didn't look like the traditional suit that we're used to, I thought it looked really cool because it did look homemade.
Yeah.
And you know, so there were those moments that I thought were really awesome, right? Yeah. And the scenes with the lizard, it was really cool to see the lizard and cool to see it actually like a monster.
Well, yeah, exactly. He wasn't just a scaly human. He was a monster. Yeah. You're right. I mean, those are scary talons, and he was big. Yeah. And yeah, he was definitely a formidable, scary thing.
Yeah, and that was really cool. So the only thing I didn't really like was with the lizard was that for some reason, like his talons grew.
I saw that too.
It was like kryptonite for Superman. And yeah. His talons like
every time he used them, they would grow a little bit more.
Yeah, whatever worked for this scene, and they would. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I liked how Gwen was more of his equal.
Yes.
There wasn't as much of
well, she wasn't boy crazy. She was just
didn't need him. Yes. She could be her own being. Yeah. And I thought that was good.
He still took off his mask more than I remember.
Should have.
Yeah, and I remember that was one of the things that always bothered me with the Maguire ones, with him and his taking his mask. And I have the recollection that he was so much better in this movie. I was like, he kept his mask on all the time. No, he did not. And there was many times where I'm like, dude, you're walking around in a public space.
Yeah. Well, even our son, he's like, he's in the school. I don't care if
they're outside. Yeah, like, where is your mask? And you know, I never understood that of taking it off that so much. You know. Yeah. So that still bothered me.
Yeah, it's the actor. So, I've got a face.
Yes, right. I'm like, yeah, no, you're Spider-Man. You're not Peter Parker. You're Spider-Man. Yeah. Like, well, I remember one thing you had said though. You said Peter was too cool.
I felt like is like where Maguire was the nerdy science guy. Yeah, he was full on. You know, one thing I can like try to like reconcile in my head is like the Raimi trilogy is very much like Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. There is an homage to the 70s Spider-Man.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That cartoon, if you look at it that way, it's like it's pretty good. Yeah, you know, because it's cheesy, it's corny, and all that, right? Yeah. This one here, the Amazing, they made him just seem like the angsty artist. They didn't really give the science aspect too much. In a few scenes, they did.
He was just smart, but they never showed him as really caring about science.
He never showed that. So he was he always had his skateboard with him. So he just his hoodie, he just looked like that cool kid that you like in the high school would be like, I want to hang with that dude because look at him, he's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
when you look at Maguire and you're like, oh dude, I can see why you get picked on. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and well, even he was too cool.
Yeah, he just had that kind of like cool look.
He doesn't look like the loser guy, you know.
You know, and yeah,
Flash was better in this one.
I liked Flash a lot in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Yeah. I will give them that. You know, I like him more in that, even more than the MCU stuff. Yes. Well, yeah, we'll get into that later. But
yeah, like that was a big thing for this. That one,
especially at the really end, where he was just full on love Spider-Man, and he'd come around from being a dick, and you could totally. That version of Flash, I could totally see going on to becoming Agent Venom.
Very much so.
If that series had continued.
Yes. So I saw it did cut back about halfway through the movie or so. I was like, oh, you're watching this? Okay, what's going on? What's happening?
What's everything? And
he got invested. He did enjoy it, I think, more. Yeah. But at the same time, he was just like, okay, whatever. I've seen it now. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah. Insane in Dragon Ball, he loved the second fight scene with Lizard and the first encounter in the sewers and the fight at the school where the Stan Lee cameo hits.
And the flying in the background.
And that was our son's favorite moment of the movie, was that there. He just thought it was hilarious.
He liked, any of the Stan Lee cameos, he always thought it was funny. But that one, he loved the school fighting for sure.
That one there, he just thought was really cool.
again, some of those action scenes are fantastic. They still were able to get really good action scenes for sure. So
the thing that I wasn't a big fan of with the Lizard though was the redemption at the end. I'm not a big fan of my villains getting redemption, even if they die. I'm just like, no, make them bad.
Yeah, I want someone
guys.
evil.
Yeah. So
I want him to be broken, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
You're supposed to go to jail so that they can always come back to terrorize the hero. Or if they decide to kill him, I want them to make sure that they're bad and they die.
So you're like, oh, thank goodness.
Not like, oh, but he saved.
Well, with that, you should be distraught.
Yeah.
That Captain Stacy died.
Yeah.
You should care less about the villains or anything like that, right?
Exactly.
And it's so sad that we need to care so much about our villains now, and that we want them to be almost, worried and enjoyed as much.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if we have a favorite villain that we're invested in that's built up and kind of deserves it, right? But so many of them, they don't give them the chance in this. They don't really deserve to be really enjoyed as those types of characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And so Amazing Spider-Man still is up there as a great Spider-Man movie in my mind. I still say that Spider-Man 1 and 2 are still good movies.
Yeah. For what they were.
For what they were and the time that they were available to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so RADnesia.
Just say it right, man.
For Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
I still don't really like the movie. It's a train wreck.
Well, you know what?
There's too much going on.
Because I remember with my love of Amazing Spider-Man, I was so excited. Another one with Garfield. Like, I really enjoy Spider-Man. It's going to be great. And then it was not.
Yeah.
I remember it being a train wreck from when the first time we saw it, and it still is.
Yeah.
There's too much going on again. They fell prey to the same issue with Spider-Man 3. Too much happening.
Yeah, too much going on. The only thing I like about it, and it sounds morbid, but Gwen's death.
Yeah.
That pretty much felt the most comic-y that they'd done in that movie.
Yeah, because I was not expecting them to have the guts to do that.
Right.
And so that was impressive because, I didn't know about it in the comics originally, but I knew it from you. Yeah. And for you to tell me that was it is a pivotal part in him. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. They're actually doing something that's not just going to be Uncle Ben's death, something else that he's got to deal with. That's awesome. But yeah, it just was not enough.
Yeah, not enough to save that film. Our son didn't even watch it with us.
No. It was just like, no, I'm done.
But I there were some really cool action scenes again in it, and that's something here that Insane Dragon Ball said. The fight scene with Electro in Times Square, New York, seeing the slow motion, and when he tried to calm Electro down, but all of his anger issues broke out. And
I really wanted more from Electro and from Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for a better villain.
Yeah.
And it kind of it was forgettable.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the movie itself is pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
There's that one scene at the end where, the kid is dressed up as Spider-Man. I think that's probably besides Gwen's death, probably one of the better scenes in it is when he tries to stop Rhino. And then Spider-Man finally shows up and good job, kid, right? And then goes and that kind of was like that. There is the best moment of the movie for me. Yeah, and that's my most positive moment that I can say is because that felt like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
right. And the suit looks amazing. Yeah, because it's got the white lenses now, and it looks pretty much like.
Well, yeah, that was one thing that the black really bothered me from the first one. Yeah. It was just so dark, and definitely.
They got rid of that weird glowy shading on the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to spend much more time on that movie.
No, I mean, it's all kind of the same stuff we've already said. So I remember with our son, though, that's one of the reasons why he chose not to watch it, was the Spider-Man, Rhino, what?
He was looking at the package and he was just like,
no, I'm out. So it was just so funny.
I'm out. So with that series ended.
Yes.
And abruptly, there were spin-offs and all that planned for it. And it just ended. And then the future of Spider-Man was up in the air and all that. And then what did we get? We got the MCU worked out a deal. Marvel worked out a deal with Sony to be able to bring Spider-Man into there. And there was rumors back and forth that Garfield was going to come back, but then they decided to just completely reboot it.
Which I'm thinking is a good idea, that they really made sure that it was
fresh,
broken from that, right?
Yeah, and that was something that I think was a good idea, like you said, because after Amazing Spider-Man 2,
It was tarnished.
Yeah, it was
right?
Yeah. So
because then it would have been too much of a speculation that it was connected. They wouldn't have had the freedom to really do what they wanted to fit that Spider-Man into the MCU, because you wouldn't have been able to help say, well, is it the same one?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it would have been weird. So I'm glad that they recast it, and I have loved Tom Holland from the very beginning.
Call me a shill, whatever you want, but MCU Tom Holland, even on RADnesia watches, rewatching him play.
He's spectacular.
He is the spectacular Spider-Man. He is the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. I love him.
He plays that character fantastic, and he plays Peter Parker fantastic.
Exactly. He does justice for both versions.
Yeah, because he looks like a kid. Yes. He looks like the ultimate comics version. He's small. He's petite.
Yeah.
But he's still muscular. He's quippy.
Yes.
And that was one thing that
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's all around nice guy. He doesn't seem creepy. He doesn't seem overbearing.
Yeah, because Maguire has the creepy moments, and Garfield could be overbearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we got to see him show up in Civil War, and for me, if you go back and watch our other Marvel episodes, Civil War was never really my favorite. There were some moments in it that I really like, but for me, Hawkeye and Spider-Man in Civil War were my favorite parts.
Yeah, they were the standouts for me, sure.
And that when we got to experience Spider-Man and see that, he'd made this
I have goosebumps talking about it.
Old suit that looked like Ben Reilly's suit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, that's awesome, right? And I want to see more with that. And then, Tony gives him this new fancy suit and tells him he's got to go to Germany.
Yeah.
And help. And that, this here is one of my favorite moments that Theo had said when Spidey's fighting Bucky, and he's like, dude, you got a metal arm? That's awesome, dude.
Right?
And then,
he's just so funny,
right? Well, because he's just amazed. He's
real.
You see that, and even here, he's got down here, those wings, carbon fiber. Is that stuff coming? He's a
fanboy.
It shows that nerd, the nerd of our time, and what we can relate to almost.
Yeah.
Right, because I can't.
It reminds me of something I would be
science aspect.
Yeah,
right.
But it's you know what? It's the wonder and the fascination with the world.
Yes,
and that's to me what is so important with being someone who is a scientist is finding the fascination with things, and it's almost the inventor side more, where he's impressed with other people's ingenuity, right? And I think that is a great way to show his intelligence, is that he can understand and question these types of things.
Yeah.
And it's not just a string of numbers. It's not, it's a different style of nerd or outcast a little bit, right? But
he keeps stopping all the movie knowledge and all that on him. And and that's one thing I
you wouldn't understand it because it's not a Star Wars reference.
And you just jumped.
I did.
You whipped to another movie.
I whipped right to another movie, and it was totally worth it.
Okay. It was. But just the fact that type of banter, when he's fighting his foes at that time, in Civil War, that's a good way to throw your guy off. Though.
Yeah, because he's just talking
to him, and it's just like, whoa, do you ever shut up? Seriously,
I think that's one of his best qualities, is that he is distracting. Right?
Yeah. And that's one of the things, it almost gives you that feeling of a spider on your skin. Mm-hmm. A spider can't talk to you, but crawls all over you.
Yeah, and he grabs your attention all the time.
By talking so much and just saying everything, right?
Mind blown.
So when they brought
Insight by Mike.
Right? This has been an insightful moment. Crawling all over your skin like a spider. Banter wrapped around you.
Is that us, or?
Yeah. We're like an earworm right now.
Yes, we are.
Thwippity thwip thwip. But when we showed our son this, he was just like, "This is Spider-Man," because this reminded him of the cartoons that he's watching. He was watching Ultimate Spider-Man at the time, and that was the thing that he really dug. So especially when Homecoming came out, and I loved Homecoming.
Yes.
We've watched that so many times.
Yeah, and it's still
we have had so many RADnesia moments, and it still is living up to those moments because I just dig it. I dig Keaton's Vulture. He's menacing. He's evil. He's bad guy to the end.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any redemption moment. The only redemption he has is he keeps Peter's identity a secret.
But he's going to use it at some point.
Right?
Because he doesn't actually say, well, I shouldn't have done this or anything like that. He has a weird bit of honor only because of the family man aspect, but no, he's still, badass. So,
right. Yeah. And that's what I think it was a fantastic. And the fact that they show, and this is what I loved about it. You've got his original suit, his hoodie suit. he only gets his suit from Stark because he doesn't have money to build a suit. He doesn't have money to have a fancy suit. Sure, they maybe went a little overboard.
Yes.
With some of the gizmos and gadgets in it.
Because everyone was loving that with Iron Man, right?
Yeah. So those kind of moments, I can understand that can be a bit overwhelming. But I don't fault it for it because I love seeing that he built his suit and I love seeing that he made his webbing.
Yes.
The fact that he's in class making webbing.
Yeah.
You know, is fantastic because it shows that he has the ability. It's just a matter of having the money.
The material, yeah.
Right? And, you know, he is the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right? And I like, too, because that was one thing I noticed about watching all the other ones. This version uses Holland's version uses his webbing to fight, but he doesn't rely on it. He still throws punches.
Yes. I mean,
whereas the other ones
was very much...
Garfield is all about his webbing. He just, it's tie, it's detain. It's very much a detain feel. And Maguire, lots of aerial battles.
Yes.
Right? He uses a lot more of his web ball in that.
Yeah.
As a thing, but he doesn't punch a lot. It's more of like the until he gets up close.
Yeah, Holland is definitely...
They've created a good choreography with that whole scenario. So for me, I really thought that he did a great job, especially in Homecoming, to create more of that teen drama and all that.
He seems like he likes being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And there's the difference right there is that the other ones just never seemed like they liked being Spider-Man really actually truly did.
Yeah, his Peter version.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I got, because I think it's just Peter, he's a more enjoyable character. He's nicer. You know? He's awkward, but fun. And so I think that really transpired well. And it really saves it. And so it's interesting now after having, you know, we have that new taste for that Spider-Man and then watching all those old ones again. It's like, okay, no, it still rings through. It's still there. So,
you know, some of my, like Homecoming, I could probably just keep watching.
Yeah.
And like, there's not a lot in it. And I love the fact that he's learning more and they're spending much more time developing him.
Yeah.
It's not so much of a fast forward feel because that monument scene where he'd never swung in a big city, he'd never been that high before, so his anxieties came out of like, holy crap, look how high I am, look how high I can be, right? So having that, you know,
I like when he's trying to get back and he's in the middle of nowhere and he's like, well, how am I gonna do this?
Right,
I have nothing to swing on. So having to learn some of those you know, qualities that he's got to deal with, that he can't just get everywhere by swinging too. He's still a person.
He's still got to run. He's got all that. So what I thought was cool with that was that moving into Infinity War.
Yes. When
they show then him having to go even higher than he's ever gone before. You've gone to space, bitch. That idea that...
Now who jumped?
I know. Well, you know, you got to thwip. I wanted to do some thwipping.
You are forgiven.
But it showed how he became more comfortable almost, because once you've gone that high and
he hasn't. Well, that took a tremendous amount of courage,
right?
And he didn't even.
That was his responsibility and power.
Yeah, that was the perfect embodiment. Correct, because it was I have the ability to do this. Who else is going to do it?
Yeah,
just Iron Man. He's doing it without questioning it and without thinking. I have to do it too because who else? Yep. And it wasn't a big long debate. He just did it, and I thought that was such an awesome. Right there, you didn't need to talk about it. You just did it, and it shows that he's learning from that. Yeah, it didn't have to be some debate in his head,
right? Yeah, and that's why I loved it. And when he was fighting Thanos in Infinity War, where he was jumping through the portals and web in the face, magic kick, magic, and it showed right there that he was still Chatterbox, or on the ship, or on the ship.
It's just making me laughing just thinking about it,
right? Or on the ship when it was like, is this gonna be like Aliens? Well, please don't lay your eggs in me, right? He always is talking, right? And I thought that I love that quality about it because it is distracting and it reminds me of the comics. Well, if I could wear a Spider-Man suit, I would. I'd never take it off.
I know, you would.
I'm sorry, future employers, but...
Never take his mask off without absolute necessity.
Never take the mask off. Never. Abstract Lone Ranger reference. But, so then when he died in Infinity War, it was just that was
heartbreaking.
Crap.
That was so sad.
Well, because he was the only one that actually said anything. Everyone else just looked like, oh, and disappeared. And he was the only one that was like,
I know, it was like,
I don't feel good. And, you know, it was like,
it was just gut wrenching. Oh my goodness.
Right?
Oh,
so having that moment, but then you knew there was still a Spider-Man movie coming, and they talked about it being a trip, and there was like, well, he was on a bus. Were they coming back? Like,
yeah, like when
where
did this happen?
Right? So then when we got Endgame, and you know, if you haven't seen Endgame, sorry, but you're
spoilers. It's too late. I'm sorry.
Ye who enter our podcast should know there be spoilers ahead. So when he came back, you know, him coming back, and I don't really say he's a cameo in Endgame.
Yeah.
More than anything, it's like a guest appearance.
And it was just like, oh, cool. Okay, he's back.
Right?
Hopefully,
and when he comes back,
hopefully Far From Home is after this thing.
And it's like, yeah, you're hoping that, you know, so you're watching that, and you're seeing everything that goes down when he's running with the gauntlet, and you know,
that was awesome. I thought that was so much fun on him having to do all of that.
The football play feel, right? And he's going through, whoa, a horse! You've got a flying horse.
Like, he's you know what's fun is that alone helps show his age and he's full of wonder still. And I think that was just tarnished. So much fun because he deserves to have some tarnish with the shit that he's gone through with Uncle Ben alone. But we were so used to Uncle Ben being like the end all of everything. Yeah. And it's like, if that was your end all, how are you going to handle going forward as Spider-Man? Because nothing seems to be able to get worse for you. Yeah. But with this, he's still finding the best of his world that he has made. He's still moving forward, and he's never showing resilience. He's never been completely broken and sullen and mopey.
I know they haven't delved into Ben's death, and I know that something people bothers them about it. But at the same time, I wonder if it's the idea that we all know that Ben died, and people do move on, and they don't stay mopey. You know, my grandmother and my grandfather were pretty much my parents. Yeah. And when my grandmother died when I was 15, it was heartbreaking, but I moved on. I had a rough part. I know it wasn't tragic, but she died of cancer. Yeah. And she died quickly. She died in 3 months of being diagnosed of cancer. Yeah. Right. So it was
relatively quick.
Quick, right? But I had about 6 months where I had some bad times at school. It wrecked me for a bit, but I was able to move on. I understand if your uncle dies tragically from a gunshot, it's going to take longer. But it also shows with the movie that he was doing Spider-Man stuff in his funny little suit right before. So you have to realize that he's been Spider-Man for a while to a certain degree.
Already after the fact.
So we're moving on. We're going into another direction, and in the comics he isn't all mopey about Ben's death. He remembers it, but it's not so much that he's like, F my life.
Well, it's the reality that we, as humans, we have to deal with grief all the time in different aspects, and it affects everyone differently. And we do have to figure out how to still live our life. Exactly. You know, quite honestly, if anyone that has left us loved us, they would not want us to sit in pain and misery forever.
Always reliving those moments.
Always reliving it. And then if you think about those comics, he is not in every single issue, every moment of life, constantly reminding himself that like Uncle Ben died.
Sitting there going, remember.
Right? You know, no, there's other things to take care of and to deal with. And that, the experience and how he has handled it in his life is what's going to shape him as a man. Yeah. And that's the more important, is the lesson of what it helps build in him. And it doesn't mean that just because he's not crying about it all the time, that it does not have an impact and that it's not there.
Well, it shows almost, I think the movie references are probably almost a bit of something that he would have shared with Ben. Yeah. That's what I see.
Well, even for you, right? That's something for you that a lot of what you remember now about your grandfather is stuff that you guys watched together, and it means more to you, and it has a special place in your heart. It's those experiences that you shared with people. Why would you want to sit and just cry about someone's death when you could remember the positive parts that they had to your life? Mm-hmm. You know, it's one thing to say, oh, I wish he was here right now because I would really love to share this with him. But no, I remember watching this show with him, or watching this movie, or experiencing this, this location with someone, and that would matter more. But he hasn't been, we've been seeing him do other things, going to school, going traveling, those types of things. Those are new experiences. So it would be forced and unnecessary and just bogging down otherwise.
Yeah, and I think they want to keep that fresh going forward. And who knows what we'll see going forward with him.
Yeah.
If there will be anything. And we'll get to my theory after we talk about Far From Home.
Sounds good.
And here we are, the moment you're all waiting for. You may have skipped through everything just to get this. You're just like, where's my Homecoming review, damn it? No, where's my Far From Home review, damn it? Yeah, okay, I flubbed that one, but...
Oh.
But so yeah, we're whipping ahead. Spider-Man Far From Home, it's been out for a week now, just over. So we'll give a quick feeling, and then we're going to dive into spoilers.
Quick feeling.
So...
It was spectacular. It was amazing.
Why is she using
it? It was absolutely fabulous.
There you go.
That's Katie's review.
There you go. It was probably one of my favorite live action Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I know we haven't talked about Into the Spider-Verse, but we have 2 episodes. Go back and find them. There was an Into the Spider-Verse episode and Best of 2018.
Super gushing about Into the Spider-Verse.
we gushed on that so much. I didn't want to gush about this. This is live action Spider-Man. Yeah. So, but yeah, those.
So reference that in December for gushing on that.
Yeah. If you want to know about our thoughts on Into the Spider-Verse, because it's a friggin' amazing movie. Probably one of the best. But
Far From Home.
Far From Home is probably one of my. But I just started talking about Into the Spider-Verse, and I was like, oh my god, Into the Spider-Verse is like so good.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Probably just do another whole episode about that because we just recently rewatched that too, right? So it's like so good, and the visuals and the styling and the pizzas.
Anyway,
worth whipping. But Far From Home is probably one of my favorite live action Spider movies to date.
I'm super excited to watch it again.
I felt that it really did the teenage thing well. It did the PTSD really good that Peter's experiencing from all that happened.
That might be something that they haven't really delved into the Uncle Ben stuff, but they're going to be dealing with the Iron Man stuff. Mm-hmm. So that is his version of right now of something fresh that he's going to deal with.
Right.
And that's a big thing for him.
Yeah, totally. Mysterio was fantastic.
Yes.
And
his costume was awesome.
Beautiful. And the effects were great. And just everything came together for a great sequel to Homecoming. And it felt and gelled perfectly together.
Yes. He was still the same. They built on his character from all these other movies that he's experienced so far. I think it did a great job of doing that. And the world that it is, it was amazing.
So going forward now, we're going to spoil the crap out of it. So we're thwip over your ears, web over yourself if you don't want to hear it.
Till the very end, most likely.
Yeah, most likely. Far From Home, it started out amazing with that little video, because that's my jam, man.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, thank you, Whitney Houston. You know what's so funny is yeah, he can't help it.
Will always love you.
Are you done? When that started, I looked over.
There are people that will love that.
I know. People
if you like that, please tell me so that I can be like, ha, suck it, monkey.
Yeah. When that started, I looked over at Mike. I was like, oh my God, he's probably so happy.
I was smiling.
So happy.
That was my drinking song.
And then I was
in high school.
Wow. Wow, this is happening right now. And I'm trying to think okay, how is this fitting into this movie? What in the world are we watching? And then I was like, wait, no. This has got to be an homage.
Yep.
And lo and behold, it was, and that was so well.
That
so
video
well done.
was so good.
It was an awesome blend into it was a perfect high school news video.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a perfect way to kick off the.
And it answered almost all my questions I had about
the jump,
about the blip or the dissemination or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Because they got Avengers
blip,
had a different name.
Yeah.
This had the
They're
blip.
They're referring to the blip. Right? Yeah.
And the fact that people disappeared and came back 5 years later, and the fact that people grew up.
Yeah.
People graduated. People went off and did things. But then there was kids that were now the same age as Peter and MJ and Ned and Betty.
Yeah.
And Flash that didn't age.
Yep.
But
well, as an adult, it wouldn't have mattered as much.
You wouldn't have noticed.
You wouldn't have noticed. It'd be like, okay, well, I just 5 years later, yes, it sucks, but I can go back into my life. But as kids, that would matter.
Yep.
You know, or like with Flash. Now suddenly, you know, he's my older brother.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it answered all those questions like right away, just out of the gate. Like,
yeah, they were just like, okay, let's not deal with the crap and this wonderment. This is what's going down.
Yeah.
And like for our son, that one moment, he thought it was hilarious when it showed when the blip happened, showed everyone starting to melt at the basketball game.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then this happened, and there's a new basketball game, and then everyone shows up.
Yeah. Right? And then all of a sudden the marching band is in the middle of the basketball court there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was great. Yeah, he thought that was hilarious.
So I thought that was just a fantastic way to start. And then, you know, showing how awkward Peter was, and like even the stories, like with Aunt May, the fact that she was talking about they thought it was a ghost. You know, or a mistress or something like that. Like, so those things where life went on. Yeah. You know, because like in Avengers, they made it seem like no one moved on. Yeah. Right? But like the world just stopped. Here showed that everything moved on. Yeah. Without all those people. Yeah. But then those people just showed back up to where they left. That's just trippy, man. That would be hard. So I thought that was kind of a cool way. Because we just saw everyone show up in this one field. They pulled everyone together idea. Yeah. We didn't see them show up in the middle of cities. Exactly. Like mass chaos. Right. When you think about that, is the idea that someone disappeared right where they were. How many of those people disappeared while driving? Right. And they literally now have just showed up in the middle of the street without a vehicle. Sitting down. In the middle of traffic. Sitting down. How many people died as soon as they came back? Right. How many hips were broken? Right. Man, now we're just, now you ruined it. Now it's my hated Spider-Man movie because he killed so many people. No. This is just Thanos' fault. No, this is the Avengers' fault. This is the Avengers' fault. The Avengers brought everyone back. Yeah, that is true. There was a lot of happy people out there. Oh, yes. Going on rides at Disneyland. Yep. Like that video we saw on YouTube. Was like, wait a second, she's gone. No lines. That poor guy. The teacher. That story was heartbreaking. Oh my goodness! And it shows his wife. You know, pretended that she. You know, he thought she died in the blip and basically went away, but she just ran off. And oh my goodness, I was just so sad. Oh yeah. But it shows that then people would do something like that, right? Yeah, like, take advantage of those things and just disappear. He was so sad. And so you know. For me, though, I will admit we've gotten 5 minutes into the movie, and the thing that did I will admit though that did bug me about Far From Home. Yes, that my biggest gripe about it was a gripe that we had about all the other Spider-Man movies. He did unmask a lot more than he should have. Yes, than he did in Homecoming or any of the other things. Yes. Right. So, and I don't know if part of it was the fact that with Mysterio. That he wasn't a villain to begin with, but even in at the very beginning, he didn't have it. He was doing demasked his it. He demasked his Iron Spider suit way too cavalier. And when he was with Aunt May, that whole time there, he should not have been unmasked at all. Anyone could have walked back there. Yeah, and then at an event, and then he was going to be walking up there, and I literally kept waiting, pins and needles, like someone's going to walk backstage. Yeah, or is he going to accidentally walk out on stage? I was waiting for him to walk out there and be like, and then it almost looked like he did. It was like the second, like the back area, and I was like, Peter, what are you doing? Gosh. That was probably my biggest gripe with it. Yeah. But I loved it. You know, it had that the teenage drama I thought was really well done because it was the idea that this was even a year later, right? Yeah. This was the fact that they had been back for a year. They all had relived they had to redo the school year and all that. And now they was like, no, you know what? I just need to have a normal thing. So we're gonna go on a vacation, and it was a school trip and all that. And you know, I thought that was an interesting way of doing it, and it showed them that there was a relationship that was building with MJ. Yeah, that you know, so we didn't have to get bogged down with the year after the blip. Yes, it was just like, okay, now this is where this is our status quo right now, and obviously things have still been hard with him. Having to face with Tony being gone, and the world it still is in his face all the time, right? Yeah, and that would have been a big thing for him because it shows then that Tony had filled that niche that was gone with Uncle Ben. Then and he was his way that Peter was dealing with it. Yeah, and now to have that lost as well, that will be a big blow. And it showed how broken he was because he really didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. Yeah. he was just like, no.
Well, because he felt that it was too much of a burden. Now this is too much of a responsibility. Yeah. This is more than I signed up for. It was okay when I had someone to share it with.
Well, and the fact that when he was originally just dealing with common thugs, right? He was just like,
where's my neighborhood stuff?
Yeah. It was just that feeling. So I thought it was really cool to see that. It was interesting to see that, because May knows in this version, so she was able to push it.
Yeah.
One thing I wish they had done is they had maybe hadn't shown the scene in the trailers with the banana. They'd shown that, and that was kind of like anticlimactic, right? Yeah. It was like, oh, well, we already know that he's gonna, but But besides that, Mysterio shows up, and Mysterio's there. He's supposed to be from another universe, and he's supposed to be there because beasts from another universe that destroyed his planet are here, so he's gonna come try to stop them and save the world.
He's all like badass, and he's doing really well.
Yeah,
and just totally
butt, and then it was just like, this is so cool.
And he seemed like he was such a positive
role model
presence in Peter's life, right? And it shows how much he needed that right there. He was desperate for someone to help with that,
right? So there was a lot of good humor in there, and there was a lot of good moments with them, and the fact that Fury brings him in, and Fury's like, no, you're an Avenger, you got to deal with this stuff. And so then Peter's just like, no, I just want to be a teenager, like I'm still just a teen, this is
it was him having to balance between trying to tell MJ how he felt and being Spider-Man, and that's okay. That's part of his those responsibilities and that balance that he's got to deal with, and any of those heroes would, but especially Spider-Man being a teenager, having to reconcile that. And I thought that it made more sense at this time now to be dealing with that.
Well, I like the fact that he feels more like a teenager in this than he did in any of the trilogies, right? Because he graduated so quickly in the other ones, right?
Yeah, he was not a teenager. He just...
So having that and seeing that, and it was just really cool. Like, it just looked really great. And knowing comic book knowledge for myself, I was just like, when is he going to turn out to be a bad guy? Or are they actually going to do this?
Well, right? I thought from the very beginning, I'm like, Mysterio's a bad guy. When? And then, all the promos was like, oh, we're teaming up to fight this. And I'm like, what is going on? Okay, I'm just going to let this roll out. See what happens. But this is not right.
Right? Like, there was a lot of just those when is it going to go wrong?
Yeah.
And so the whole point is that...
Well, when they were fighting that big the lava monster there, it was done so quickly. And I was like, okay, something's weird.
Right? Like, it feels like there should still be more movie left. Like,
well, even our son afterwards, he told us, he was like, this is way too early. Something else has got to happen.
Right?
He recognized that.
Yeah, he was just like, no. But Peter gets these glasses from Stark. Edith, and it's their AI augmented reality glasses.
I thought that was really cool.
Was attached to.
I love the acronym for it too.
Right.
What? Even dead, I'm the hero.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. I really liked Happy in this one.
He was more of a character than he's ever been.
Yeah, and I like that he was.
Well, he was a good character in Homecoming too, though.
Yeah, he was, but he was kind of a douche in Homecoming, right? Yeah. Because he was very much of the ignoring him type thing, and he always bothered me in Homecoming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I always felt like, dude, why are you not helping him out a little bit? Like, you should listen to him more. He was so concerned, but that was part of what moved the story along, so I get that. But I really liked Happy in this one.
He doesn't have really a boss anymore.
Yeah, so he has like a special little place in my heart for this one. I was like, okay, you're cool again. I like you.
Yeah,
you really saved the day. You were awesome.
Yeah, he did a lot of good things, and he's really had those heartful moments because he's kind of. Well, he's dating May.
Yeah, no, he's not. It was just a summer fling. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. But when it turns out that Mysterio is the villain.
Well, because I love though with him giving Edith those glasses there.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, okay, well, this seems like really scary, Peter. What are you doing?
Yeah,
like, I understand.
You just met this guy.
Why you feel like he's awesome, and by all means, keep working with him.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's a good influence in your life. It's going to be great. You just gave him something really cool though, and it shows that he's not wanting to necessarily pass it on because he thinks that Mysterio is the person for it. He just wants rid of it.
Yeah.
And he feels like, well, I don't have to feel guilty because I'm giving it to someone who wants to do this.
Yeah.
And that's where it's more. It's him shedding that responsibility.
Yeah.
And then it turns around pretty damn quick that, oh, no, that was not the right choice.
Right. And
that was when that happened, when everything melted away. I'm like, what the heck just happened?
It was really trippy to see that because
it was so confusing
because no one was really reacting as much. Like,
right?
It was like, wait. And then we find out everyone's in on it that was in there as well, but like they didn't react to everything melting away. Yeah. It was just like, what's going on?
Oh yeah, my head about exploded.
And I love the fact that was just exactly like in the comics. Mysterio still was a villain, and he played everyone. He tricked them.
That was like an incredible illusion. That was impressive. And I was like, yes, okay, the world is right.
Right? And just having that and then getting into the battle, like...
He was just truly the jaded scientist, right?
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool because nothing is worse than someone throwing out someone's idea. That was in Iron Man. It just follows the same thing. Again, how many times did Tony just throw away someone and it turned into a problem?
It's funny to think of how much Peter is now cleaning up Tony's messes.
Yeah.
Right?
Very much so.
This is, Homecoming was Tony's mess.
I think the world is going to clean up after Tony for a very long time.
And as much as he's the hero and all that, it's the idea that he created something that you can't go back from, and he's created all these villains. Yeah, just because of not only being Iron Man, but also his shrewd business techniques. Yeah, just being Tony Stark. What he did as Tony Stark after he became Iron Man, literally they say in the movie too, like he took my technology and turned it into barf. Yeah, that whole. Right back to Civil War. And all it was him just a giant psycho, therapy treatment. Which is fine, but at the same time, when you watch that was his technology. Yeah. That was him doing something for it. It wasn't anyone else that had gotten credit for it at all. So I can understand why the guy's angry. Yeah. And so showed all these people that he had wronged, and they're all ex-Stark employees. Yeah. That Tony had screwed over at some point with something, and Quentin Beck collected them all. So there is no multiverse. Yeah. Right? That was like, okay. We were close. That was cool that turned out to be a surprise. Right. Right. It wasn't what they had said in the trailers, which was dope. And there's still a multiverse because of Doctor Strange, but maybe he'll explore but not it. Mysterio from a rant, because it seems like too good to be true, and it was. Yeah, and how awesome he was, and like totally kicked the bad guy's ass. That was like had killed their planet so quickly, and it was like, it's too late, and he's just like he sacrificed himself. I'm like, this seems too well done. It's why it was too good to be true. So when that thing flew out of, I thought it was just like he grabbed part of the Ferris wheel or something, and. That thing flew by Mary Jane. I thought, that was weird. What was that? But I didn't even think about it. Well, yeah, he went to Thwip and it caught the drone. Caught the drone instead. And I thought that was really cool. And he even had his moment where he was confused, but then he just had to keep moving. Yeah. Right? So, what do you think of Night Monkey? Night Monkey. Yeah, I like the suit. That was really cool. I thought it was funny how that came about with them moving around. I thought that was really funny to show the power of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. Being able to just manipulate it so that it was like, well, I took that away. I took your problem away. So now you have no reason not to fight do what I want to do, right? Yeah. So Night Monkey showed up, which was cool. They gave him a different costume. So that wasn't necessarily originally supposed to be Spider-Man, right? Well, it was nice to see that costume had a purpose other than necessarily toy selling. Yes. Right. And it actually used it for what it was. I thought that was kind of a cool way to. I thought it was just so funny that they showed that in the news and everything, and like the fear of it. The Night Monkey. Oh my God, the Night Monkey! Right? That was awesome, and then the whole thing with MJ, that he finally, I was so proud of him that he finally wanted to say something to her, and then he finally got the guts to do it. And I know because he thought everything was fine. That was the difference with that. And so he had that. It shows that he needed that responsibility shed a little bit to feel like I can focus on this. Yeah. So there was a bonus for that nature. But I like that she was like, yeah, of course I know you're Spider-Man. But she was totally bluffing. She wasn't 100% sure. And I thought that was hilarious. It really shows her character. She's... yes, she doesn't have the red hair. She's not exactly what I, know from the comics for anything. And I get that. But personality-wise, she seems like a much more enjoyable character, especially after watching. Right. I really like this Mary Jane. Yeah. Even from the first one, she was a little bit more nerdy and geeky and all that. But you can see, I can almost see... It developed. Right? Developing. She's developing. She's growing up. She grew up from the last one. She was much more enjoyable in this one. And even like her look, she wasn't so much the tomboy. She grew up a little bit. She was a little different, and I wonder if they're going to go any route because she had that giant art folder at the beginning. Yeah. And she's always been one that's doing art. Are they going to take her in the realm of like a fashion designer? Because they've done that with her in the comics before. Yeah. And that would make sense. It makes sense with how she is. Yeah. But I like how brash she is, and she's just telling people. She seems more comic booky than the other version was, because This one here doesn't take any crap for anyone, and she's just going forward with her life.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't need
Well, it's interesting
anybody.
that she even comments on it, though. The fact that I tell people truths even though it's uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
it's just, she sees it as a flaw, but she can't seem to help it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not always a flaw either.
No.
You know, it's not always a bad thing to have. And, but sometimes it can get you in hot water. But if she's at least, you know, noticing it and everything, right? So it made me really happy that she knew, because I knew at some point she should know.
Yeah.
And that was a huge thing huge weight off of his shoulders to be able to have that. And I think he wouldn't have been able to move forward and beat Mysterio without it.
No. Remind me of the redhead once we get to the end credits.
Your theories. Okay.
I got some theories that most likely won't happen, but they were what I would do.
Okay. Those are always fun, though. Your theories are always amazing.
So, well, hopefully. But yeah, so that scene where he finally goes, he thinks he's going to see Nick Fury.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, that was trippy.
This is probably the most comic book we have had in the entirety of the MCU.
Yeah.
This reminded me of the cartoons or the video games or the comics, all of that, where Mysterio uses his technology that he's using
Totally.
to completely mess with Peter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was hard to pay attention to watch it.
Right?
Right? You're like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
He
right?
was able to use his technology to change Peter's costume while he was in it. And Peter's fighting these things, fighting himself, fighting Mysterio's wall, all this stuff, and the whole entire world, and he didn't know where he was. And DC is going to have a hard time doing Scarecrow after this.
Oh, because exactly. Because that should have been what Scarecrow was.
Exactly, right? You could see this being like, you know, so that idea where you know, he was just seeing his failures, and Mysterio is telling him that, you know, you never live up to Stark and you're a failure and all these. And and then the Iron Zombie.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that was intense.
Like, it was just fantastic seeing all that. And that was Insane Dragon Ball. I didn't forget about you.
Yeah.
He told me that whole scene was one of his favorite scenes because and that was just so mesmerizing, and that's one that I want to watch over and over again.
Well, because you thought that it was done, right? You're like, oh, okay, cool. You're outside.
Yes.
You know, he's got you.
Yes.
We're good. And then it just continued. It was like, oh my goodness.
And they got hit by a train.
Right?
It was just like, whoa.
And then he ended up in the Netherlands.
Right? But like, yeah, that's a scene I want to like watch a lot because there's so much to see in the different costumes and the different changes and the different all that, and it was so perfect in a nightmare realm trippy.
His Peter tingle just couldn't keep up. That
went on a little too long.
Every single time. That was once was enough.
Yeah,
and then that was it. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. All they needed to say is like, I want to
just call it something else. Yeah. Call it my spider sense. Yeah. And then it would have been done and we would have been fine. But no.
That took the movie down a little bit.
Yeah.
But not a lot. But yeah, so yeah.
That scene was pretty awesome.
And then getting to see him build his suit was so much nostalgia for Iron Man.
Yeah.
And seeing Happy's face when he sees him just walk in and just decide to build it.
That showed his intelligence and his creativity.
Yes.
And his ability to just roll with things, and how much it was why Tony he picked him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it showed his strength.
Yes.
And it was like easy at that point. He'd been beaten. He'd been hit by a train, literally.
Yeah.
He could have just said, I'm out. I'm done.
But it was like this again was the responsibility. I have the tools. I have the power. I have the tools in front of me. I have zero reason not to do it because I should. I have the ability.
I need to right my wrongs.
Yeah. Because right now, he had to take responsibility because he's the one that now has unleashed Edith to the world. Because he was so anxious to let go of responsibility, and it's that him learning that lesson. I can't shirk this responsibility.
Yeah, without them actually having to say it, they're actually showing us. Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
They're literally.
And I would much rather see it be, acted out rather than just being told it.
Yes.
Why do we need to see it? Why can't we just understand the context?
Why do you need to be told this?
Why do we need to be told? Why can't we see it?
Yes.
See? Understand the context and storytelling, right?
Yeah. And I think that was a great moment for him as character to see and develop and to push forward. Yeah. Right. And even that final battle and all that, it was just, that was when he was using his webbing and he was going on.
He was so focused, right?
He was so, and he was able to scan his area and be able to use the different tools that he had at him to be able to take down the drones, to be able to get to Beck.
Well, and what was great is that he wasn't using those glasses to do it, right? He was just using all of the senses and abilities that he had.
Yes.
We're going to just use the spider sense. He was using his spider sense, right?
Well, that's how he wins a day.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought that was amazing that he was just trusting himself.
Yeah.
And that was the difference between being the Iron Spider and depending on Iron Man tech.
See, that's the thing is he didn't seem to have any onboard AI on this suit.
Exactly.
This was just...
the only thing he had was the detonation stuff that he had controlled, the ability with that. But he wasn't using all the AI to scan the areas and to be able... because Iron Man would have had something up that would have mapped all the drones and been able to find everything or heat signatures on something, right? But he didn't have any of that.
He wasn't talking to anybody.
No, and I thought that was really cool because
that's what he relied on in Homecoming.
But exactly, he cared so much, and that really got him in trouble when he more of that, right? And
instant kill mode, right?
And I thought that was really cool.
Even though he uses instant kill in Endgame,
he does.
But those were monsters, so
they were monsters. Yeah,
But yeah, you make a good point.
He was actually Spider-Man.
It was Spider-Man. Yeah, it was him doing everything himself. He wasn't asking for anyone's help.
And that's what they needed. He needs to break out of that shadow of being Tony and be his own person. Yeah. And I think that with the suit, the difference being him making it. Yes, he's using that tech. Yes, he's got all this stuff. And I know now he has Edith back, but still, I think. Well, no, he doesn't want Edith anymore. So fine, we're good.
But I think, for me, I was worried because I was like, why are they going black and red? But after seeing that, I was like, no, I want this hot toy. This one is going to be my jam.
So that was okay.
That scene where he was just going around and all that, I was like, this is amazeballs. Yeah. This is fantastic. I always thought, you know what? I think because the blue and the red is so much more iconic for Spider-Man, I kind of wish that they'd gone with the black and the red for him in Civil War and Homecoming.
Yeah,
but showing that he originally started with the blue and the red in the homemade suit.
Yeah.
Right. And then this could have been the back to no, this is me. This is not Tony creating me. This is my combo. Yeah. Right.
Well, because honestly, the blue and the red doesn't really make sense as much, but I know he was trying for Tony, right?
Yeah.
But he was trying to just build off of what he had, right? So,
but I totally dug how the suit looked in this, how he used it and all that. And I freaking loved it. So biggest spoiler territory we can go into.
And we've already done all of this. So
well, yeah, I know, but we're going to the end credits.
Oh, the end credit scenes.
The end credit scene.
Okay,
because before the end credit scene, the mid credit scene was probably one of the longest mid credit scenes I think they've ever done. Because he's whipping through New York, everything's fine, he feels great, he's all happy.
Yeah.
Right. And I loved, if you noticed on his cell phone when he takes a picture of himself, it looks like the PlayStation video game screen, which
one thing I thought was interesting too in the background, because I don't believe anything that they put in the background is a coincidence, was when he went to go land on the pole, when he landed with MJ, that it said there were like big banners in the background. It says, "We can't wait to show you what's next."
Yeah, so I read that's actually supposed to be Avengers Tower. And there's a 1 in the background. There's a 1, there's a 2, and a 3.
Oh, okay.
So people are rumoring that is that going to be the Baxter Building?
Oh, okay.
Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Right?
So I saw that and instantly I was like, that's got to be there. I was like, that was really cool. It's kind of a fun little subliminal message there, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, everything was great. Everything was going to be awesome.
He was happy with MJ.
Because when he beat Mysterio, right? Mm-hmm. And he kept saying that people are going to believe anything, because the world is ripe for, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's up and down.
Yeah.
They'll just listen. And it's a commentary in the world right now that we see something on TV, we see something that is a gossip or something that's outlandish, and we just run with it, right? We don't question it. We just run with it. And when he seemed so okay that he was still going to win, basically. Yeah. I was like, okay, well, you seem really sure of yourself. Okay. And then you could tell that his henchman guy was downloading something. And I thought maybe at first he was downloading something to do with Edith. Yeah. That it was the idea I made a backup, basically. Because that would be really scary technology for him still to have, right? Yeah. And that's what I thought it was. But we've learned otherwise.
Yeah, so that video gets uploaded and Mysterio has decided to have a video cut to make it look like Spider-Man was in control of the drones
and framed him
for creating the havoc that was in London and killing Mysterio.
Yes.
And in that great amazing scene, someone
And that was bad enough.
Someone comes back.
Yes.
J. Jonah Jameson, played by J. Keen Simmons, which was
fantastic.
wild. I was
Right?
like,
We're
what? And then he gets outed.
Oh, that was
Mysterio
just like, what?
outs Peter Parker.
I thought he was, because he teased it for, we almost didn't say it. I'm like, okay, that's bad enough that he has made him out to be a villain right now. Because no one saw Mysterio being the bad guy.
Not at all. There was no one that made him a bad guy.
And so that was bad enough to show that, because it was very damning video.
Yep.
And then he outed him, and it was just like, oh my goodness, that actually just happened.
And we got that second, like, because the first movie had May at the very end there, kind of with the finding out that Peter was with the what the F? And then this one ends with Peter grabbing his head, going, what the F?
Right.
And that there, that has serious
consequences.
Yeah. Like, it's going to be insane to see where they go with this. Like, it has me so hyped for a third Spider-Man movie. It can't come soon enough. I don't, right now, I don't care about
anything else. I just want a Spider-Man movie.
I don't need Doctor Strange, Black Panther. As much as it hurts me to say, I don't need my Guardians right now. I don't need another Avengers.
I need my Spider-Man.
I need Spider-Man because I need to know
how they're going to do this.
Yeah. Like, where is it going to go? Because, now that he's outed, one, not only is he outed just as Spider-Man's Peter Parker, but
and he's also a bad guy now.
Spider-Man's a bad guy. Yeah. That's Peter Parker.
Yeah, you couldn't just pick one of them, but no, you had to go for both, huh?
Right? Like,
oh, good gracious. There's no redemption for Mysterio.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that's what I liked. I liked that literally Mysterio is a bad guy to after death.
Yes,
after death, he is still a bad guy.
Well, right now, that is literally the worst thing that has happened in any of the live action Spider-Mans then to him.
Yeah.
From the villains, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's
like,
the
besides,
worst.
like,
other than Thanos, of course, right?
Like maybe if they cut off his legs, maybe.
but I mean, all the other villains have not had that long standing of.
No, this has huge ramifications. Like, I don't know how, like, in the comics you use Doctor Strange, so I don't know if they're gonna be able to do anything like that or what they're gonna do.
They're gonna
it's too soon to set up the Sinister Six, right? And so I don't know. I think if anything, it's gonna end up being Kraven the Hunter.
Hunting and chasing after,
because that's a perfect thing. Spider-Man's now a wanted man. Peter Parker's a wanted man.
Yeah.
It's Kraven's greatest hunt.
Yeah.
Right now.
It'd be a perfect way to bring Kraven in there.
Yeah. And to use him. And it makes sense. Because now, make Kraven the reality TV star that goes on film, and I'm going to hunt the Spider-Man. Yeah. Peter Parker.
And then he doesn't seem like the bad guy. He seems like someone who's trying to save the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like,
that's perfect.
That's what I would assume that I would go with, because that's, be a great thing to see.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, back to the red hair.
Yeah.
They Could this be where Mary Jane gets red hair? Because now she might go on the run with Peter?
That's an interesting point, because they literally just saw her with him.
Yeah.
And they know that they're close, and the classmates and all that sort of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So could that be where she gets her red hair from?
Could be that she's trying to hide. I mean, with flaming red hair.
Yeah,
sure.
but it makes her look different.
Quite a bit different, yeah.
If she then goes more, she's always dressed so down.
Yes.
Right? If she suddenly, they straighten her hair, dye her red.
Girly type thing,
right? Then that she'll look completely different.
That would be an interesting twist, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Of like, that's where she gets it from.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was originally thought that the third one would probably end up be calling like Spider-Man No More. But then I was like, wait, no, it's been Homecoming.
Home for everything.
Far From Home. So it's got to be, is it going to be like No Home or?
No, we've already discussed that. That was not, I suggested, and that one.
No, you said Lost Home.
Oh, okay. You didn't like that one.
Yeah.
No More Home. I think.
More Home.
Something. Yeah, it was something.
No Home sounds like No Homo.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, that's not okay.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, it's not okay.
I'm curious to see, because it has to add home in it. Something like.
So can we talk about the very, very end scene?
Well, yeah, we've if they've lasted this long, we've pretty much just.
I know, but the very, very end scene
gave way. Marvel's probably gonna be mad at us right now. They're like, but we could have had more money.
I need more. I need to know what is going on with the Skrulls.
So what did we find out at the end?
The end that Nick and
Maria Hill
are both Skrulls.
Through this movie.
So it was the main Skrull from Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and his wife.
And Nick Fury real seems to be on a Skrull ship on fake vacation.
Yeah, just kind of chilling.
Seems... I don't know if he knows that he seems like he knows that he's there, kind of just off. Like, is it just for this? Has he not been able to handle after coming back? Because it has been a year after the blip, and we know that he had disappeared during the blip. And because I remember you had said after the fact, now knowing this, it's like when they said Captain Marvel to Nick Fury and he freaked out about not invoking her name. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah. Because everyone else was more normal, and it was like, you do not invoke her name.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, wow.
It was way too intense.
My goodness. Right? And so, yeah, I don't know what to take of that. Like, what is he doing?
They called, though, to tell him, like, hey, shit went down, and we think we screwed up. We don't know
if we told Nick Fury, though.
No,
they were telling the Skrulls, right? Yeah. We don't know who he actually reported to.
Yeah, but Fury walks out like, "Hey, everyone, back to work!" Right?
No, he looked like he was like totally zoned out.
So
I still think weird things are happening. Weird things are afoot.
Maybe it's the tease for. Maybe it is Secret Invasion. Maybe everything seemed all cool at the end of Captain Marvel, and we're supposed to feel easy, and we're getting the Secret Invasion.
Because I'm still worried that now, like. It doesn't... At the same time, you made it a good point, because I questioned whether Nick Fury has been a Skrull from Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But he seemed... Because he didn't know how to handle it, he seemed very unsure. So if he's actually been playing Nick Fury since Captain Marvel, all through all of this stuff, that he was actually the one that created the Avengers, it seems a little too much of a far-fetched, because the Avengers were created so far after that.
Yeah.
If Captain Marvel had happened in the middle of the Avengers, I would have said... Yes, that would make more sense. But that's just me like throwing stuff out, right? So I'm wondering if after the blip, maybe Nick Fury is not quite there. And maybe he just didn't know how to handle it. And maybe they just ran away.
Took advantage of it.
Maybe he thought, you know what, I can take a break. I can't handle this. Like, Thanos is gone. They're figuring stuff out, you know?
Well, there is no Avengers right now.
Yeah, so maybe he just ran away.
Everyone didn't know what to do.
But it seems like a weird place for him to go all the way to, hang out on a fake vacation on the Skrull ship. It definitely... is bothering me that I don't.
I didn't realize it bothered you this much.
Oh, this is the first
totally
time bothering me.
This is the first time you've said it. Wow.
Because I don't know what to think.
Well, hopefully Comic-Con we get some answers of what's coming.
Yeah.
That'll maybe ease our pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, Far From Home, definitely see it. Like, it's fantastic. It's amazing.
Well, you've pretty much got a step-by-step, play-by-play of this movie right now. You do play-by-play.
We know.
Everyone, you know what? I'm sorry, but if you're a Marvel fan, I am sure that you have seen it. Or, you had time.
Yeah, we gave you plenty of time. We gave you a week.
Yeah. A week and a half. There's plenty of time. You had a full weekend. Like, I know that you saw it. So... I'm curious to see what everyone thought, though.
I'm excited. I'm very much looking forward to what's going.
And what is your fan theory about the Skrulls? More importantly, that's what I want to know.
That's why we need to know what's coming. What's the next movie? Where's it going? Like, where is it happening? What's the next movie?
I'm not okay with not knowing Marvel's 9-year plan. I'm not okay with this.
What is going on in the next 10 years?
Something is wrong in the world when I don't have a Marvel plan. I was talking to my boss about that the other day, actually, and he was just like, we always knew what the plan was. And I was like, it is horribly uneasy that I do not know the plan.
I can't buy my tickets.
Right? I don't have my Marvel schedule for my life right now. It is not okay.
I don't know what days to take off. This is ruining my life.
What is happening?
I can't plan my vacation because...
Right? I mean, things are happening that it's not okay.
When am I going to get my merch?
I need to know what superhero is the next one I'm going to enjoy. Like, when is... it's funny because, how much we've lived our lives for how long.
10 years like this.
It's been a decade of knowing.
Yeah.
And it's suddenly...
And building and more and more.
But yeah, it was an awesome end to this phase, I think. And it definitely made
it gave you that cliffhanger for what's next.
Because with Endgame, it was very much of a closure feel.
Yes.
And
yes.
as much as this was supposed to be the end of this phase, this felt like a kickoff to the next.
Yeah.
It was the what is happening now,
Yeah.
and it was funny. It was almost like the old fashioned TV where you had the end to it, and then all of a sudden now you have the cliffhanger, right?
Next
Instead of
time
the other
on.
one. And it was totally that way, right? Where it's like, okay, everything's tidy, and then holy crap, we saw this,
Yeah.
and now it's kicking off.
Hey,
to the,
we got
I
a-
need to know now.
we got a
because the
cliffhanger.
end game, we talked about it. We're like, okay, we're cool.
If Marvel had ended,
It would have been fine.
Okay, well,
it was neat and tidy. This is now not okay. It cannot end now. Oh my goodness. Not okay.
This is fantastic. Like, you just see her face. She's just like enraged, but like giddy and excited, and just like, but why?
I need my Marvel stuff.
She's jonesing right now, just like,
Okay.
need my hit.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm having a hard time not having the Spider-Man merch though, because I didn't buy anything new, and it was like sacrilegious. I did not have a Spider-Man shirt to wear to the movie. I wore my Totoro shirt because it was new, but I only have an old Spider-Man shirt, and it was just too decrepit to wear.
Yeah.
So I was sad that I didn't have any new
There hasn't
Spider-Man
been a
merch.
lot of it though.
I've been seeing Theo had posted some of the pops that he had bought for it, and I was like, oh no, I don't need more pops. But they're so cool. So I guess a hot toy it is.
Well, I've already messaged Toy Traders, and
Okay.
waiting to hear back from them about that. But that's not till next November. So
Yeah, it's way too long. Way too long.
So I guess we could get a pop, maybe.
But I made sure I realized, I was like, oh my goodness.
What pop do you want?
I don't know. There was one with he was holding the phone. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, taking the selfie.
Perfect, right? The selfie. That was like, it's like video game and movie pop. But I normally change my computer screen at work to match the movie,
Yeah.
right? And I had Endgame on there for so long, and I finally changed it to something random because I was like, I don't have movies to put on there, right? And then I saw Spider-Man. I was like, holy moly, I never put Spider-Man on there. So like quickly the next day I was like, I need to fix my computer. This is wrong. So my desktop now is fixed.
It's all back to normal.
It's got a cool Spider-Man in stereo. We're good. It was like, oh my goodness.
Well, there's not really, we've been lagging on watching a lot of movies. There hasn't been a lot of movies that have really gotten our attention to go to.
Yeah.
Which is really sad for this summer. And especially going forward. Like, I want to see the new Quentin Tarantino one, but
I do too, yeah.
I just don't know if we're going to get there for the length.
That
and
trailer
all
was
that.
not okay on the Spider-Man movie, by the way. I was like, oh no, what's happening?
Well, yeah, that was a little intense for there. But besides that, there's nothing in August.
Yeah, it's weird.
And so the next one, really the big one that I'm going to make sure to see is It.
Yeah.
And then even after that, it's kind of like, we're going into like December territory. Almost.
Yeah,
Like it's a weird.
Well, that's why we're going to be talking cartoons, and we've already started our summer break RADnesia.
Yes.
So that episode will be coming up too.
Yes. So we got next week. We're going to be coming at you with. Well, I guess we never really finished our Spider-Man one, did we?
We did. We kind of did.
Oh.
Yeah, we finished it. We're good with Spider-Man, so-
Whip. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a Studio Ghibli for next week there.
kind of a collection of things that
Because we've been watching a whole bunch of Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah. We haven't really been able to talk about them yet. So.
Yeah, so we're going to do that because we've been sharing that with our son. And I think it'll be a really good episode to talk about some of our favorite films that we've watched from them.
Yeah.
And what we've taken out of their films. I think that'll be a really cool one to see. Then after that will be our RADnesia, which you were just saying.
Yeah, we got some
summer break.
medieval based kind of old school movies that we thought we'd share with her. So I'm gonna let them sit. We're not gonna tell them.
Yeah, well,
what
you
movies.
can stew on that one, but that one will also probably have some reactions to anything that comes from Comic-Con because that one's gonna be the week after Comic-Con.
Marvel, please.
So,
help me.
so that'll be really cool to do. So I'm excited about that. You know what's something that's really cool though? What Sony did. Usually I'm not a big pro Sony guy, even though we have a PlayStation, but they dropped the suits from Far From Home for the PS4 the day the movie came out.
That same day, I'm like, Mike, you need to go.
Yeah, I totally did. I uploaded it and I was just like, update. And we got those free suits for the Spider-Man 4
And then
video game.
and then he was like off playing video game.
Yeah, that's where the thwipping came
That
from.
was the thwip and release.
And
Yeah.
release
That's
and
what-
thwip and release. But you get to have the new advanced suit and the Night Monkey,
That is really cool.
right?
Yeah.
And it was really fun to be able to play as a
Is
suit.
it called Night Monkey Suit?
Well, no.
It would
It's
have
a
been
stealth
cool
suit.
if it was called Night Monkey Suit.
It's just called stealth suit. So sorry, it's
fail.
well,
It should
yeah,
have
but
been Night Monkey Suit because if that, but I guess he doesn't see that as a positive.
No,
way that it's called, because then people are scared of him too. So
yeah, it's a night monkey. But yeah, that was really fun addition to everything to be able to have that added in. Well,
all the suits in general for that game, I know you just really love that you can play your free time as the different Spider-Man that you like.
Oh yeah, I've beaten the game and I haven't done an extra run through, but I like I'll just go swinging once in a while. And it's like, what do I want to wear today? Boppity-bop-bop. And, I usually fall back to the Scarlet Spider suit.
Yeah.
Or I use the one that was used in Dan Slott's Worldwide arc. It's a liquid metal nano suit that's kind of shiny. And then it also has the glowing green spider on the chest kind of thing.
Oh, is it red and blue as well?
Yeah, it's red and blue.
Oh,
so it's like iron. It's like an iron spider suit, but all sleek. No,
okay.
And it's got kind of plating and all that. And I like that one because it's got the metallic shine to it. So it kind of has that look
nice
as you're swinging through and all that. But having the advanced suit was really fun. And that did make me want the hot toy even more.
Yeah.
Having a hard time because I'm starting to see a lot more of the shots of either the Mezco, Homecoming stuff, which I probably can't get, but the figure arts, because I'm loving the figure arts line so much that I see those and I'm just like, I want to figure it's like Spider-Man because it could be in so many more poses.
Yeah.
Right? Because I look at my Legends shelf and
I was going to say, I know that you really built up your Legends and I know they're not all the same Spider-Man. You have the different ones.
Yeah.
And of course, and it has the large family, but I know how long you spent trying to gather those ones, right?
But they just fall over so much. I can't get them in those poses.
It's the don't touch one because they will domino over.
Yeah, right?
Or we'll come downstairs and we're like, oh, the Spider-Man.
Someone went down the stairs too hard.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard. I would, if I could do it all over again, I would not have gotten the Legends Spider-Gwen. Not because I don't like Spider-Gwen. I love Spider-Gwen. I love the suit, but I don't like how her proportions are, and she can't get in any really spidery poses.
That's a character. I don't, other than Into the Spider-Verse, I don't know anything really about her, right? But I love the look of her, and that's another, a costume-wise, I would love to be Spider-Man.
That's a fantastic design.
It's so girly and pretty, and I love it.
Well, the graphic novels are on the shelf for the first few arcs.
I know. But yeah, so I love that, right? So.
Yeah, I dig that so much of a suit. The idea that she's from an alternate reality that, she got bit by the spider instead of Peter, and then Peter becomes the lizard and dies, and that's her Ben moment is she couldn't save her friend.
Oh, okay,
right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really a cool difference and all that. I think she's now called Ghost Spider. I haven't read her for a while because
really?
I haven't been able to get the graphic novels as easily because the library
doesn't have Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're being jerks. Yeah, they're Ghost Spider. I think she's getting pulled into the 616 as well. She's bought between because she traveled during Spider-Verse and all those kind of things.
Wow,
so
it's a little convoluted now.
It's got a little kind of wonky, but the original stuff was really great, really good read. So I really like that design. It looks slick. But yeah, I look at my shelf there, and I know Insane Dragon Ball wants a couple of them. Because he missed out on those couple of those ones.
I remember the pain and the heartache of trying to find these, though.
No, well, the Ultimate Spider-Man one we got from Big Bad.
Okay.
So that one wasn't hard to get, and the Black Suit Symbiote one, that one came. I think I just found that at Target.
But still, it was the stress of do I want this one? Which one do I want? It was the great debates.
It is a great debate.
It's a weird concept because we've been wanting now with the slimming down the collection and with the Hot Toys more not having as much of a debate, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember all the different legends. I mean, we've gotten rid of so much stuff already from the past, and all how many there were of collecting and trying to find waves and checking the Marvel Legends for all the time. And it's just weird memories.
Right?
Memories! Of finding all these characters out and being so excited when the one is on the shelf. And it's a weird feeling almost not having that anymore, right?
Yeah,
that was a big thing for so long.
The hunt is kind of gone.
But it was the reality that it had changed in stores, and then now where we live, so impossible to have all that.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have the toy store selection. The reality, we don't have Target anymore. So
yeah, that's where I got a lot of stuff.
And that's a big thing, right? And so it's a weird concept. It kind of fits perfectly that we're kind of putting in this situation now that we don't have the access to having those. So I'm glad that it isn't such a draw for us to grab all this.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, because like I remember after seeing Homecoming, I got the Homecoming and Home Suit and Stark Suit Legend, right?
Yeah.
And like, but now I look at them and like the Stark Suit Legend is so out of proportion. I wish I could have like the figure arts or something,
Yeah.
the Mezco,
Yeah.
right? Because it looks so much nicer. Right. But I'm learning now over collecting over years that you got to get quality over quantity. Right.
Third wave of collecting is the charm, I guess. That's
Right. Third time's a charm.
Third time's
well,
a charm.
I as much as I look around the room, I see things in the room that I'm like, well, maybe it's time to start letting go of more things and stick with the collection that we're building.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm enjoying it much more. I'm not saying that I want to lose out on things, but figure out a better way of it.
You know, okay, like behind us is all the Harry Potter pops, right? And I think of those and it's like those make sense to be having because we're never going to have figures of all of those.
No.
And because it's such a big, huge world that I like so many of those characters, I don't have one particular that I love more than anything. So it makes sense to have a pop version of those because they're cheaper and they're easier and they're all in scale and everything's great, right? And then there's some that, like say Spider-Man, that is a character that you really, really love and adore, and you want it to have that flexibility, that articulation, and it makes sense to have a quality one that you really appreciate.
Yeah,
right?
like I'm getting the hot toy for sure, and that'll probably allow me to let go of the Stark Suit Legend. But I don't know about the comic book stuff. I probably still need to be able to replace them with a higher quality before I let them go.
Oh yeah.
But
I would feel more comfortable with that too.
You know, here's a funny thing. So I got my Scarlet Spider Legend, right?
Yeah.
And my Scarlet Spider Legend, I'd been searching for it. It was like couldn't find it. And it was like, you know, I didn't want to pay the online prices for it. And one of our trips back from Disneyland, we'd stopped off. We needed to go hit a restroom. And we stopped, and it was a Kmart up in the mountains, right?
Oh yeah, the weird random Kmart.
Right? Was it back from Disneyland, or was it back from?
It was in Bishop.
It was in Bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And we stopped
because we needed medicine or something like that.
No, we hit the washroom.
Oh, we hit the bathroom. Okay,
washroom,
there we
right?
go.
And
I don't know where.
And
Kmart, I guess.
We went ahead and we went there, and I was like, I'm gonna go look at the toys because that's what Mike does. He goes to a store, and if there's toys, I gravitate to it.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like a magnet.
Yeah,
even when I go grocery shopping at Walmart every week,
like his little zen.
Even though I know I'm not gonna find anything there, I'll just peruse the aisle.
Sometimes it's really obnoxious, but it is a quality of him that is just adorable. It's always there.
Yeah, it's like it's a magnet.
Yeah.
And we went, and I was on the shelf, and there was the Scarlet Spider that I've been looking for. And I was like, oh my God, seriously, how did I luck out find this at retail?
Right?
And it was like a clearance item too, I think, because like the Kmart's were starting to close.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I think it was only like $12.
Yeah, it was just right? like, how did this happen?
And so, but then the irony of the whole factor is, and then they re-released all those figures with the classics line with the gray card, and then the Scarlet Spider came with the Ben Reilly head, and it was just like this, seriously. But the hot toy Scarlet Spider, that's the one I would have gotten from the movie, from the video game.
Yes,
I wanted that so bad, but Toy Traders wasn't able to get it because it's exclusive, and it went to a wait list so fast. And
well, it was like the next day. It was less than the day.
It was like an hour.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was like, oh, by the way, Katie, there's this. Oh, and it sold out.
Yeah. Well, that went fast because it came with so many cool accessories, right? So, but
that's the other thing is I want to know what the hot toy, they had the accessory. Have they announced that accessory?
No.
Because it said that there was to coming, and we're trying to speculate about what
there's going to be a new Holland sculpt for the face.
Because I know that when they, the Thor, was it Thor re-release or whatever? There was
Captain America,
that's what it was.
It was the hammer.
Endgame, the hammer. And so we're like, okay, so
I've asked Toy Traders about that one too.
Spoiler, I know. Spoiler, and I don't know what it's going to be. We were trying to speculate, so I'm definitely curious to see what it's going to be.
He comes with the phone. He comes with the glasses.
The only thing I thought about was the droid.
The drone?
The drone, yeah.
Yeah.
Droid.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm calling my Star Wars edit.
It seems too big, almost.
But it seems kind of strange, right? Because he never really used it. Like, what would be the point of it?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the only thing I could think of that was like a spoiler.
I guess they waited about a month
Yeah.
for Cap's
So I'm curious
reveal.
to find out what that is.
So
I mean, I know it's not going to make or break anything, but
it
still.
comes out in November next year. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a Spidey fix soon
Yeah. Okay.
because I think the figure arts, the Night Monkey suit doesn't come out until January.
Oh wow.
Right. So like that's
So
the
that's the
only
thing,
problem with like the higher end stuff.
So you
end
pay
up
for
waiting.
the quality, but you got to pay for that time too.
You gotta,
right?
yeah. Like, because like you can get the legend now, and you're like, oh, okay. And they're great for if you want it.
Well, yeah, if you just want the
for
representation
kids
of
and
it,
stuff like
or
that,
something,
right?
Right, yeah.
But I'm now.
But you've gone through so many legends in your.
Well, I'm
past,
just getting to
right?
that point where I'm just seeing like my Wolverine. I love my Wolverine legend, but then like the fact that his claws are all wobbly. So I'm like, okay, well now I want a better one that doesn't have wobbly claws.
Yeah, well, you keep looking at the 112, is it?
The Mezco one,
Mezco,
yeah. I looked at that, and you gave me the stink eye.
I'm not trying to give you the stink eye about it. All I care about is that you make the
Stop swapping out these things.
You know what? If you really want something, though, you will just buy it.
Yeah.
And you have Toy Trader dollars, so that it's mostly your trades, and just make the decision. Let's be honest. I tried to talk you to buying Bulma, and you showed up one day with it. So if you really want it,
I'll do it.
You will buy it.
That's true. Well, I'm waiting to do another trade.
Yeah.
So I'm building that up.
We're gonna bring out the kiddo in his Lego buildings
This summer, so he can build up the last few boxes of Legos.
Yes.
So we can do that final trade, and then we can maybe go through any of our other collection and see.
So, then I know that it'll come. It's
Take some time.
Wait. You want quality. You got to make sure you really want those things.
I know.
You got this.
Okay. So I got to give a really big shout out to Spit Roast Podcast. Adam and Heidi do a show that's more review based currently and all that. As we've shifted.
Well, yeah, they see lots of movies.
Yeah, they see a ton of movies, like every single movie. They do a really fun show over there. It's great to listen. They're pretty much like a little podcast family. So it's really fun to be able to throw ideas back and forth between them and whatnot. And they've been really kind and generous to really kind of spotlight our show on a few of their episodes where they've talked about things. So I really appreciate it from their end. Definitely check out, especially because Adam does sort of a art of cinema kind of thing, where he talks about certain movies from creators that he's really connected to or likes. So he did a James Gunn one and all that.
Yeah, kind of like spotlights on their work.
Yeah. Art of cinema is what he calls it. So It's a Spit Roast podcast. Really awesome to be able to hear what he's got to say, because he actually does have some film degree background when it comes to it. So whereas we do things based more on our nostalgia and our enjoyment, he has a bit more into
positive entertainment, right?
Right. So definitely check them out. Heidi and him do a great show over on the Spit Roast Podcast. So it's something really fun to check out if you haven't already. Big thank you to everyone that played our Magic Word contest.
Yeah.
Yet again, I want to thank everyone for listening, and your boxes will be coming. So it'll be really cool to see the pictures from that and tell us what you're putting in that cup.
Definitely.
We're coffee and tea. You might be whiskey and whatever.
Rum and Coke. I don't know.
So.
Or just good old fashioned water.
Yeah. Who knows? But thank you
everyone for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for sticking with us as we stuck to you.
Nice. Thwippity, thwip, thwip.
Thwippity, thwip, thwip. Yeah. My spider sense is tingling. Is yours?
Oh.
I'm pretty.
Always. We're in the same room.
Or is it your Peter tingle?
I was waiting for our son to ask us about that. We're like, why is that so funny, guys?
Why is his Peter tingling?
We're gonna end it on that note, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, we kept it. We burped it pretty clean.
We did. I watched my swearing even when I was all emotionally
This was a clean episode. There's some
impressed.
Suggestive, but besides that,
you wouldn't expect anything less. But I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. So.
Well, you know what? I hope everyone enjoyed our in-depth review of the Spider-Man live-action world
for RADnesia.
And on just an ending note, please go see Into the Spider-Verse, because it is amazing as well.
Best Spider-Man movie yet. Thank you so much. Stay rad, dudes.
Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes!